Greetings everybody, I hope we have some more people joining us this evening. It's been 4 years since we started doing PedalBox and a few days. And actually I've just remembered something that I meant to do and I totally forgot to do it, which was to ask Yolanda to put the PedalBox stream onto the back screen. Now you might also notice we have a new, oh your tie's all wrong, what are you doing? A new member of the team who has just jumped out because I criticised his tie. That's Loki, that's our social media manager. And he will probably be back later on, but if you don't see anything posted about this on social media, that's why. It's just his fault. So, yeah. Business Cat is indeed in the house and doing proper works. Although he's looking very, very untidy with his tie out a bit here. So, yeah. We will get started shortly once we've got a few more people in. We'll see who's in. Greg is in. Chris is in. As you can see, Chris is not here. However, Chris is here in spirit. At least this should be filled with spirits. That would probably be a much better idea. He is in fact wearing a tie, Sean. He is very much wearing a tie, although it is a bit cape-like at the moment. It's kind of 50-50. You know, it's definitely going to get jammed. Edna Mode would not approve of Loki's current tie situation. There is another cat that you might see as well called Luna. Frankly, you'll be very lucky to see Luna. Most people in this house are. She very rarely actually makes an appearance, and we have maybe gaslighted Vix, who's Luna's mom, a little bit about her existence because she's so skittish and just doesn't come out to see people other than about 20 minutes a day. Sometimes in the evening, sometimes in the morning, but 20 minutes, that's all you get. Loki, however, will patrol around everywhere. So we've got a few more people in. Yes, yeah, downstairs, a live studio audience. Vix is actually just down in front of the camera to try and coax Loki back in. So wave like this, Vix, and yeah, that'll do it. Yeah, proof of existence. I'm counting that as proof of life. So there we go. So yes, so we'll see how many more we're going to get in, and then we'll get started. Yolanda, could you?
I did want to double check which one it is you want on.
I was just going to put the chronological one on from the very beginning and just run through, because we're not going to get through them all anyway. And my glorious idea of let's put the whole unedited omnibus Retro Rides Gathering video on. However, that finished rendering about 7 or 8 minutes ago, having been going for the last 5 hours, and is 27 gig. So there is no quick way that I can run it and stream it to anywhere from my PC fast enough to make this work. But yeah, just full screen that, and we'll just let us play in the background. We've got Emma in as well. Hi Emma! How are we all? Hopefully everybody is having a good weekend thus far. I am having a weekend mostly made of sleep, which is much deserved right now, because I think I've put in actually about a day and a half of overtime on the current job that I'm working on, which was really nice to find out, considering I wasn't sure how much I was going to get paid for any overtime. So winner. But that is definitely going to go through. Yes, well pointed out. That is me with hair. That's me with quite a bit of hair that appeared to have managed to backcomb itself pretty effectively as well. Yeah, as Emma says, how is my head? My head is fine, in inverted commas. I was moving some things around in the lean-to shed that we store a bunch of the equipment in, and we have the engine crane in there and all of the spare parts for the kit car, and an engine stand. The engine stand is hung on the wall, so it's out of the way, and the spit is in there, everything. And we're putting some stuff back in. The engine crane was on the wall. No, sorry, the engine stand was on the wall. See, you can tell I'm getting it wrong because I've got a head injury. And the crane was being shuffled into the corner and managed to clip the engine stand, which was hanging on the wall, which proceeded to fall very slowly down and then very quickly down, hitting me here, hitting my glasses, which then went into the bridge of my nose and carved a chunk off the bridge of my nose, which was wonderful. And then it hit my shoulder as well. So yeah, exactly. Nothing of value was damaged. Ultimately, my face will repair itself for a given value of repair, as I'm sure Greg is about to interject with. Let's just see what smart aleck comment Greg manages to throw in there. So yes, here we are. Well, hijacked maybe. I don't know. I mean, the engine crane played very little to do with it, other than a bit of ineptitude swinging it round and fitting it back into its space in the corner next to the table saw. To be fair, I managed to get the table saw out, use it, retain all of my fingers, and get a head injury from an inanimate object. So I maintain I'm a victim of physics as far as I'm concerned.
The jacking bar was what caused it to fall, though.
Yeah, no, it's not. So Yolanda's just saying the jacking bar caused it. It's not actually the jacking bar. There is a handle on it, but the handle is there in order to turn the engine around so that you can spin it over as you go through. So yeah, that's what clipped me, or rather, that's what fell into the support that holds it, and then it wasn't holding well enough, and then it fell down and smacked me in the face. So yeah, good move by me, and that was about 2.5 hours spent travelling to and from A&E and everything else. So yeah, as you can see, I am not wearing my own merch because it is in the box over there, and I was busy doing other things before we came on air, so I threw on any other t-shirt that I had to hand, and top of the pile was Decimal Tenths, which is also represented by the mug. However, if you would like to buy one of our mugs, t-shirts, hats, or anything else, you can do. Go to shop.pedalbox.show. You'll help us A, support the channel, B, support our build, C, make some more room over here so that I can make more designs, because I've got a few more, but actually don't have very much space for them, and I need to sell some before I get more printed. Otherwise I'm just going to end up with hundreds of t-shirts that don't fit me because they're not made for fat. So yeah, that's next up on the list. We've got a few more designs. One is the long-awaited glitter oil t-shirt, or some variation of that. Not entirely sure how we're going to make that work, whether or not we're going to put craft herpes on it and have glitter on, but we'll see what we can do. That might have to be a homebrew edition that you can check as an optional extra that you do or don't want. But that's hopefully what's going to happen and is going to be the next one that we come out with. Also, I'm at some point going to get a grinder and paint Make Me the Welder I Ain't t-shirt, because it is continually becoming so very, very true. So yeah, we've got quite a few people on the stream now. We've got 7 in, which is pretty good for this point in the stream. We normally get a few more joining in later on, which would be nice. But I thought basically we would go through a bunch of the stuff that we've done over the years. As you can see, this is the first time we tried to put all of the bits of the car together after we'd eventually got it home. And we still have all of those panels. We're not using any of them. They're in a shed somewhere after we fixed them all up, kicked them all into place. And you can see this project has obviously taken a toll on me because I am both younger and more hairy in this picture. So yeah, so for those of you who've never seen anything before, and hopefully people will be watching this video back later on, for those of you who've not seen what we're building, I actually have a big run through of pictures, which admittedly I've also forgotten to tell Yolanda what order to put in, because there are some that are slightly out of order, so I'm just going to have to open up another window here really quick. But basically we decided many years ago that we'd had a genius idea, and we were going to start a YouTube channel, and the primary focus for us starting this YouTube channel was to force, let's say, not even to coerce, to force Chris and I to both actually make more progress on all of our projects. That is my Mark II Golf, to do something with his Mark I Golf, and to generally try and keep on top of some of the maintenance, because at that point he also had a Laguna, which was the Nerd Herder from, I forgot what that show's called. Come on brain. Come on, Chris, in the comments. You can probably beat me to it. Yes, Greg. Chris is younger and less. I'm older and more. He is younger and less. It's on the tip of my tongue, and I can't believe that it is. I'm struggling so hard to remember the name of this show. No, Vex, it's not Star Wars. if I had a car from Star Wars in the drive, or if Chris had a car from Star Wars in the drive, it's as functional. It is as functional as the cars from Star Wars. I will give you that, because it doesn't have an engine that goes brum either. Neither of them do. So yeah, Chuck. That was the name of it. Well done. I beat everybody in the comments. You all suck. So yeah. So that was what he had. He had it for a rundown on the Monte Carlo or Bust Rally. I obviously had the Mark II Golf. He had the Mark I. I also had a Cabrio as well, which you saw in the very first clip of the first episode that went up. And ultimately, we did nothing with them. Instead, we got an Audi A3 and we started filming some stuff on that across the summer and didn't do anything with that footage. It's still kicking around somewhere and I still need to make a video about it, so go me. And what we did instead was we went to Norfolk Way basically and picked up this kit car chassis, which you can see on the TV behind me, and we started trying to work out what we were going to do with it that wasn't the same as everybody else does with them, because not deliberately to try and be different, but just because, why not? So we started looking at engines, as you can see on the back here. We're going through all of the different things, and basically we ruled out a bunch of these because we didn't want to modify the chassis too much, because it would be a lot of work. Yeah, you can see how that went. So we thought, well, we're not going to use an inline 6 because we'd have to lengthen the chassis, and that would be a stupid idea. We've done that by the better part of about, I think, 14 or 15 inches at this point. We didn't want to make the chassis wider and put a V8 in it because that would be silly, and we've done quite a lot of that at this point as well. But in the end, we started making progress and we decided we were going to just chop the whole back end of the car off, which is probably what we're talking about here. Chop the whole back of the car off and then put a TT engine in instead, because why not? It seems like a perfectly reasonable idea. And my stream monitoring thing has oh, why are you not doing the oh, thanks, well, that's just grand. So yeah, okay, so yes, there have been a number of suggestions about something thesis, but yeah, Trigger Zoom I think is a really good subtitle for this project. Trigger Zoom is probably going to be the renamed kit car title for these videos, as Project Trigger Zoom. But yeah, the track car of Thesis is very much what it is. I think we worked out there's about 20% of the original chassis left, compared to what we started with, because obviously all of the back went off, which we planned to do geniusly. We did all of that, and the entire floor section of the cabin area has been removed, so there is nothing left of that except for I think one crossbar. We took most of the front out so that we could move the pedal box further away so that I could fit, which was a fairly key requirement in my car. And we removed most of the bottom end out of the front section as well. There are only the two members that come up to the front and the piece that goes across the top left from everything forward of the front firewall on the car. And that's about it, because we decided it was going to be too hard to extend the lower arms wider and having them kind of on outriggers or something like that. So instead of it being a trapezoid where it came down and went like this, if you look at the front of the car, it basically did all that at the top and that at the bottom, and then you had longer arms here and shorter arms at the top. We decided not to do it that way around, and we extended it so it was flat at the bottom, so it was a nice simple square shape to work with for the bodywork, which obviously we then ignored by putting very complicated bodywork on. You can probably skip this episode, to be fair. It's just us stood in front of a whiteboard. It's not one of the most thrilling muted episodes to watch, I will admit. So yeah, so we chopped all that apart and did many other things to the general structure of the chassis, and then obviously built a roll cage on the top and all sorts of other things. So I think this is us cutting a bunch of stuff out of the car, which...
No, this is Golf Resurrection.
Ah, no, yes, because after 3 episodes we got distracted, and instead of working on this project we went, oh, we've got other ones. So we went and worked on my kit car, my Mark II Golf instead of the kit car, which we subsequently managed to set on fire, so go us. Now, I'm going to deviate away from this briefly, and I'm going to start trying to instruct Yolanda on. In fact, to be fair, we plugged this laptop in, so I can just do it on this one because I'm smart. Okay, maybe not smart. All right. God.
Sorry.
So this
Well, you've got to give me a chance to.
should allow me to see smart. Yeah, SMRT. I mean SMART. Yes, exactly that. Yeah. We got distracted. We got distracted should absolutely be another tagline for the show. So this is the kit car as we got it. As you saw before in episode 2, we were just watching it there. It might be worth putting me on the overlay here. I have actually planned out some of the overlay so you can see me whilst it's on screen. Which as long as I'm as long as I'm at the top. If I'm at the bottom, it doesn't work.
And you're gonna jump.
Actually, there is a better way to do this because this isn't going to work. So bear with me.
One sec, let me move you back.
Excuse me whilst I just do the remainder of the pre-prep whilst we are live, because that is the best time to do all preparations for anything, right? Is whilst you have an audience, and this is exactly what you all want to see. Just download all of these files. Here we go. So yes, so we basically started building this and we had no idea where we were going to go with it, because that seemed like a perfectly reasonable way to start a multi-year project that we were in no way qualified to begin or indeed finish. So we decided, because we had a car handy, fix it in post. Exactly, I'd just always fix it in post. And of course, now I can't find this, and yeah, go away. Has anyone ever bought WinRAR? No, I don't think so. Yes, extract it to there. Come on, come on. Right, so.
Which side do you want the pin?
Here. It's probably going to be the best option. Oh look, that started working. I'm going to use Chris to prop up my phone so that I can keep an eye on chat whilst I'm on everything else. You say 7-zip all the things, however, that would involve me actually reinstalling this laptop at some point with something else. It has, okay, Loki has just returned, but it is now just a cape. The tie has turned into a cape, so yeah, that's going to happen.
He's also very, very specifically avoiding Vix because he knows that if he goes anywhere near her,
yes,
she'll try and fix it.
Yeah. So at some point, yeah, very much, Greg. Ninite for the win. However, I still need to remember, and we know that's a problem because I get distracted, and I've got a head injury. So,
you ready?
Yes. If you want to pop that back up onto the other one, instead of me flailing around with.
You want it on aux 2 as well?
Yes. Yeah. It wants to be up on here.
There you go.
Because I need to find the old mouse. And there we go. Right. So this is the car as we acquired it, although there was an enormous box of bits, which I still haven't really binned any of or sold any of, despite meaning to for the last 4 and a bit years, so go me. We ended up chopping a lot of the car up, as you can see here. Oh, thanks very much with the, yeah, you go. There we go. So we chopped out quite a lot of the car, obviously put in some extensions towards the back. That's the engine, the seat when it went in the first time. The key doesn't work there. It does turn, but doesn't start anything, which is a little disappointing still, even to this day. And eventually, after I think 2 years, we got to this point where we had a rolling chassis that was all one colour, with the first bits of sheet metal starting to go in around the pedal box. The actual pedal box itself was in, and I think this is the third set of wheels that went onto the car. So originally we had the ones from the Audi A3, which were the 5-spoke 16-inch monoblocks. We went from those to the spare set of 18-inch TT wheels from Sean's TT that he had, but in order to get it to the local car show, which is what we were attempting to do here and make it look vaguely presentable, we had to put it on some spare wheels, which were a little bit too small, but held air, which the 18-inch really, really didn't. They were blown out all over. It was terrible. So yeah, so that's where we got up to. So as for the progression, thank Thanks, Windows Photos. You failed me there. Oh, are we? Okay, we have a Loki wants it now, and he's gone. He's definitely not interested in being on camera. We nearly had him a little bit more, but we'll see if we can get him back later.
It's because he wants your chair.
Oh yeah, so I pulled my chair out from the desk earlier, and Loki was on it, and he just bolted. So he's probably a little bit upset with me at the moment, if I'm honest, because I stole the spot where he wanted to be. He's even looking at some cat treats and just going, no, you put this thing round my neck, and you're not going to sweet talk me now. So, as I said, this is a representation of the first car that we got, because I actually forgot to take a proper picture of the first car that we got because I'm not a smart man. So this was a 1.8 T-Sport non-quattro Audi A3 that we picked up on eBay, and it was about £365 from memory, and it was very conveniently half a mile from the house, so we could just sneak it back here on what was left of its MOT. And sort of the same day car tax hackery, so we could get it back in. And from that we got a 1.8T, obviously, AGU 20 valve turbo. It's 150 horsepower, 155 pounds-feet of torque, and we thought if we build something about the 700 odd kilos, I'll have to do some maths very quickly in the background here, but if we get something that is about 700 kilos out of this whole thing, bearing in mind a Caterham, a lightweight Caterham, is 595 kilos. So 700 was probably a reasonable estimate at the time, although I didn't actually know what I was really planning on doing, which was kind of more of the problem. I'm forgetting how to use a calculator. Go me. No, that's definitely not what I wanted. So that would have come out at about 215 horsepower per tonne, which is not an insubstantial amount for something that weighs basically nothing. Yes, Emmy, that is exactly what I did here. So that was the original power plant, and we set that up for all of about a year. And it was a nice idea, and we had some plans on making it a little bit better and doing various bits and pieces to it, and we ultimately decided that actually, no, because Sean very, very generously suggested to us that he might not want his Audi TT anymore, and as a result, we started looking at his Audi TT with lustful eyes on the corner of the drive and going, ooh, yes, that would be much better. Because he didn't have the 180 brake TT, he had a 225 brake horsepower TT, and ultimately if we managed to then put that in something that weighed about 700 kilos, we would have 320 horsepower per tonne thereabouts, which would frankly be hilarious. Unfortunately, what we have roughly mathed out so far is that the car is much more likely to be about the 800 kilo point rather than the 700 kilo point. Which still isn't bad, don't get me wrong. 225 brake at 800 kilos, that's still 0.7, I'm not a smart man. You'd think I'd have a backlit keyboard and I would actually be able to make it work to my advantage. But no! So if we have something that's about 800 kilos with the 225 brake BAM engine, which, well, I remember, 1TT that I forgot to skip forward onto, and all hail the mighty BAM, which is not actually as amazing as it should be, but it is clearly the correct car. So this is 225 brake, 205 pounds-feet, and is by and large the same weight as the other ones. So there's a few changes. We've got a 6-speed gearbox instead of a 5-speed now, so we've had to change a few other things. We had to make some adjustments to the back of the chassis to fit the 6-speed gearbox in, which, to be fair, we only actually finished doing earlier this year because priorities. So we finished that off when we had it on the car spit so that we could turn it over and just weld everything up a lot easier. So that was a major bonus. But what it meant was we had a bit of a Frankenstein car at this point, because we'd already started building it around the A3. So then we started looking at what parts from the TT we could pull over, in addition, obviously, to the engine, the gearbox, and the gear stick, because that's a 6-speed unit rather than 5-speed, so it has a slightly different actuation around it, and generally we need to swap it out. So we started going through lots and lots of parts from the A3 and swapping various bits out, but the parts we actually kept from the A3 included everything you see here. That is basically all that remains of that Audi A3 that we originally bought and started this project with, which I'd probably say is about maybe 10% by weight, maybe even less than that, compared to the kit car. So really we're starting with something, and then we get rid of the majority of it, and then we put something else in, and then we get rid of the majority of that and put something else in again. So yeah, not necessarily the best idea. Certainly not the most efficient idea. That's a certain fact. So the parts that we have, the rear crash member from the Audi A3, which goes on obviously behind the rear bumper, but we put that on the front of our car instead because it just fit nicer. It's aluminium, so it's nice and light. The lower front suspension arms, they've just been moved across and attached onto the outside because they were convenient. We thought about swapping out for the aluminium ones, the aluminium cast units from the TT, but actually because we'd welded the shock mount onto the bottom of that, instead of having it right at the very outside edge, because we didn't want a very oblique, very acute angle to the inside, we had to mount it further back. We couldn't weld onto the cast aluminium. One, because it's cast aluminium. Two, because we can't weld aluminium here because we haven't got the equipment. Three, I don't have any skills or experience welding aluminium with any great deal of confidence. Not that I particularly did with steel at the time either. So we decided to stick with them, so they remained. The rack we actually swapped. We did have the A3 one in, but the TT one is a quicker rack. It's 2.5 turns rather than 3 turns lock to lock, so that was all good. But we decided that we were going to keep the same column and just put it on the other rack because A, we'd already made up all of the brackets to mount this column through the little bolts here and how it all fits in, and the TT column comes with this big aluminium chunk that you bolt in instead, so it's a completely different unit. You would think between two identical platforms with by and large the same equipment and the same things that go on I've condensation on, I haven't got any skill. Yes, yeah, pretty much. Basically that. So, I've lost my train of thought. I have no skill in keeping a train of thought either. Just to add on to the list. So yes, so we thought about trying to put that one in, and that lasted all of about 20 minutes when I went, okay, so let's put this in because it has the same. It has the lock barrel because we need to swap all the ECU over to the TT because it's a totally different system. It's a fly-by-wire. Loads of problems, but they're all worthwhile, except for all of the work that you actually have to do. So we looked at putting the new column in and kind of worked it out, and then went, nope, it's easier to just remove the barrel, put the other barrel on, and move on with our lives. So that's what we did. So it has the original steering column in, as well as the brakes. These are the 288mm brakes off the A3 rather than the TT. Now part of that is because I really wanted to rob the 312mm discs from the TT to put on the Golf, which I did in about episode 44, maybe? Something around that area. And they've fit, they work, they're lovely. I've never really used them in anger, unfortunately, but given the weight of this car compared to the front heavy weight of the Golf, it's a much better system to have slightly smaller ones on the front of this and the much bigger, heftier ones on the Golf. The hubs actually aren't from an A3. Although they are listed here, you can see they're artfully covered up by the pip there, because these hubs that I found a picture of are from a standard Golf GTI and the A3 and everything else. But we put R32 ones on because we accidentally bought a set when we were trying to repair the TT quite some time ago. And the radiator is, we've basically butchered around some fans in order to fit that onto the radiator, because we didn't use the radiator that came with the A3 or the TT because it was far too big. Now off the TT, obviously I said we've got the rack, we've got the rear brakes from the TT because we've got a lot of weight in the back, so instead of sticking with the original ones from the A3, which were solid 232mm discs. We have the vented discs instead, so it should give us a little bit more stopping power in the back because it's going to be a lot heavier, so it should keep the balance reasonably good. Obviously we have BAM and O2M gear shifter and TT trailing arms, but actually none of the other arms that go in towards the subframe in the middle, because they weren't going to fit because there was an engine in the way where the subframe would have been. So that was awfully awkward of it. So we had to redesign all of the things and redo basically everything, which was an absolute nightmare, and that took us months trying to work out that suspension geometry for the back of that car, even using the Racing Aspirations calculator, which if you haven't seen it, there is a couple of videos, or at least one video we've done so far on the Racing Aspirations calculator, how to use it and how to make your own suspension from that and what measurements you need to take. So if you are doing something really dumb like this, I fully recommend using that. Now the other things, I've just noticed that the pip actually covers up more than I thought. Oh well, never mind, we'll just run with it. So we robbed some parts from some Porsches as well, such as the radiator. This one actually came out of a 3-litre turbo 944, and the wheels admittedly aren't quite these ones, but these were as close as I could find a picture of. Actually came off a 930 or 964 era Porsche, which was used for racing apparently, which is a little bit interesting when you consider where is it? There we go. So that is a 944 Porsche Turbo, in case you had never seen one before and have basically been living under a rock or weren't in fact born any time in the last 20 years, and have these become very, very popular. And here is the absolute lunacy of a 964 Turbo that is also racing. So it's probably faster and more stupid than a road-going 911 964.
One sec.
Because why not?
I think the Wi-Fi dropped or something.
I was going to say the stream is gone.
Oh.
I think.
No, I mean I'm still seeing the stream here and it's still doing the things.
My Wi-Fi just died.
Oh.
He's just come back now, but he just
There's
died.
more.
Anyone? Yeah, stream is fine. Aid, QC Aid is there in the background. He's just keeping an eye on things for me, making sure that everything
I
is
can't see
working.
anything on this screen, but that's.
Okay, well we'll run with it until it actually dies. We'll run with it for the time being.
Yeah.
So yes, so that is the essentially the wheels that came off. Well, a racing 964, not a road going, because they're normally on the either the pepper pots or the blade. I can't remember what the blade ones are called now. Oh well, never mind. It's irrelevant. But we put lots of lights on and we went all around the houses to find lights that we liked. Now, I really like these 159 alpha lights. They took me so long to decide on, it's unreal. I must have gone through probably half a dozen different ideas, including actually buying a set of Subaru Gen 1 headlights, I think it is. They're split into two pieces, so you have the center section with the high-low beam and then a separate repeater on the side. And that was the first one that we thought about using, and we kind of ummed and ahed about that and then decided that no, this was much neater to just have the three little pods across the front, all in one unit, one plug, nice and simple. So the downside, of course, with that is we're introducing Italian wiring and Italian reliability into the mix, which is probably a little bit of a nightmare, but we'll see how it goes. And then we added more alpha lights in with the Mito up here, which I'm actually just going to have to quickly lose the picture-in-picture so that you can see it properly. The Mito. Again, most of these I found when I was driving around and I saw something and went, ooh, that might work. And inevitably, for the most part, it worked. The only thing that we did do with the Mito was actually swap them round. So left and right lights on our car are the other way around because they kind of angle in a little bit on the Mito, whereas we wanted them pointing out to the corners. So left is right and right is left, just to be a little bit difficult. The other one that you have already seen us install is the Mini. Now we put the light on the bottom. We needed fog light and reverse lights, and I was trying to work out how to do it for quite a long time. I've seen a few other ideas with centre section lights, because the way the The way the regulations work is you have to have the fog light on the outside towards the middle of the road, and then the reverse light can be anywhere, which is why you get fog light on one side, reversing light on the other side, and if they have twin reverse lights they normally have twin fog lights as well, and that's why it's that way around. Sometimes they have twin fogs and one reversing light, which feels a bit weird, but it's not so common anymore. So I need to find something that was either going to work with the Alpha Mito lights, given I couldn't actually get these ones that go on the very bottom of the Alpha Mito bumper, because nobody would sell me them. Not a single, or they wanted £1 million for them on eBay for just that little unit. But basically the only ones I could find locally were on good cars with good bumpers in scrapyards. And they wouldn't split those lights off, which would have had the reflectors in and the reversing and fog lights and everything else, and it would have been nice and simple. But they said no, which was kind of annoying. So in the end, I ended up having to find something else. And eventually, driving around one day, I spotted this Mini, of which it's a very small selection of Minis exist with this set of lights on, which is really, really annoying. So it's an R56 and R57, so I think it's the second gen, because the 5051 was the first. So it's a second generation BMW Mini, and it's only certain trim levels that have a centre light with the fog and the reversing lights. Some of them, the reversing lights are in the main clusters, so you just have a fog at the bottom. Some of them have separate lights, which are out the sides, which I think is the Cooper, because it has a centre, the Cooper S, because it has a centre exit exhaust. So you can't have a light where there's an exhaust. So I ended up trying to search down one of these. Next to impossible to find anywhere in a scrapyard with that light on the back, so I ended up buying one on eBay, and all was well. What I now need to find is a power connector to go onto the back of one, the plug connector to go in the back, which still means finding one in a scrapyard. However, I can probably find one that's been in a massive crash, and the wiring loom will hopefully still be intact enough that I can take that plug off and actually the light doesn't matter. Now the one that you haven't seen, because I'm still not 100% convinced about the idea, is the Chrysler 300C front fog lamps. I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to have front fog lamps, because you don't need them, where I'm exactly going to put them, and if I'm actually still going to use the ones off the Chrysler 300C, because I figured I wanted something round which would mirror the Alpha ones. Yes, I'm aware I could have just used the Alpha ones. I might yet still use the Alpha ones if I can find a set cheap, but the Chrysler ones were in the scrapyard, and I think we paid a tenner for the pair because they were convenient, and there were no Alpha 159s in the scrapyard anywhere at all. I eventually had to find one relatively local that was being broken, and I went and got the headlights and a chunk of the loom that goes off it. So at the moment the plan is to use Chrysler 300C front fog lamps, but that might change, and I might get the ones off the Alpha just so they match everything across the board, and they all have the nice little chrome trim round, but we'll see. For now, the parts list includes a Chrysler 300C, but we could get rid of a car off that list. That's not going to help me because I'm on the wrong highlight. Now this is what I would have liked to have got the headlights from. This is an Alpha SZ, which has these really nice triple gang square lamps, and I think that would have looked spectacular, albeit the car has actually ended up a lot more rounded than I had in my mind at the time, so it probably wouldn't have worked as well, but I would still love an Alpha SZ if I could find one, afford one, and was brave enough to own an actual proper worth money Alpha rather than a beta to go, yeah, I owned an Alpha. Seems like a very bold move. So, moving on from wishful thinking, the intercooler system, we decided not to go with the standard intercoolers from the TT. There are two of them. They sit on either side of the bumper at the far end, and they are not perfect mirrors of one another, which is really, really annoying, because it means that you can't easily just fabricate something up that fits across the pair and just works nicely. So in the end, I happened to have my car written off on the M4, and when we were stripping all of the parts off my Audi A6, which is an example of which is there. There we go. Yeah, so I had an Audi A6 TDI, and that had two intercoolers under the headlights on each side, and they were actual mirrors of one another. And the additional bonus on that is on the TT there is a pipe about probably 8 inches long, thereabouts, and that has the map sensor in it. Now we got rid of that pipe because we were putting in custom pipework, so that's kind of what you would expect. So when we were putting in the alpha ones, when we were putting in the ones from the A6, we noticed there was a similar sensor in, and by chance, I mean, it's VW Audi, so you would kind of expect them all to use the same part where they could, is exactly the same part number, and it's built into the exit housing from one of the intercoolers, and it's on the same side. So the one that exits on the throttle body side for the BAM is actually the exit side from the intercooler system with the map sensor in, the same as it would have been on the TT and indeed the A3. So we got an absolute win out of that. So that was really good. If we'd still had the AGU, we might have had more of a problem because the intake for the throttle body on that side is on the other side of the car. So we probably had to route things around a little differently. Maybe we would have used different intercoolers. But as it happens, we ended up sticking with putting another intercooler in anyway. We put in this lovely big fat intercooler that I got for a £5 on eBay, and that goes in across the whole back of the car, which has gone in one of the recent episodes, and that actually came out of, when I find it, a Land Rover Freelander, of all things, and it was only because somebody mistyped and it was down as a Fweolander, F-W-E-E, instead of Freelander, so nobody found it, nobody searched for it, and as a result, nobody bid on it. So I got it for, I think, £5, and I think less than a £5 delivery for this bloody great intercooler that sits perfectly across the back of the whole car and lines up nicely with basically everything. So again, got really, really lucky on that front. And as a result, we now have 3 big old intercoolers. One will work as a sort of a pre-cooler across the back of the car, because there will be some warm air there in fairness, but it's still going to cool it more than if it just dumped straight into the side pod, because there's a huge amount more surface area to cool across. There's also a heat shield away from the exhaust and the engine to draw slightly cooler air through that, and the warm air will go a different route. And there's 2 dirty grey, I mean they're only 8-inch fans, but they are 80 watts a piece fans that sit on it and will just continually blow through. So it should make a decent contribution to the overall charge cooling for the whole system. So that's not too bad. The A6 ones have a very similar overall volume of the cooler to the TT ones. We did wonder, because the TT one's a lot fatter on one side. It's about probably nearly 30, 40, possibly even 50% thicker than one of them, and definitely 50% thicker than the other of the A6 intercoolers, because they are slightly different sizes. So the volume of those small ones is largely comparable or slightly larger than the TT ones, just in a slightly different pattern. And then we've got this other massive one across the back, which is probably triples the amount of fin area that we have, with airflow going over it, and part of it is forced, whereas the 2 on the side are obviously just passively cooling in and taking air into the bay. So that's good fun there. Now, we thought we were being really smart when we started with this. We started going through the windows, and I decided I was going to, well, initially, when my car was written off, I actually had an SLK windscreen in the back seat, in the boot, and when the car was written off, it was hit in the back, and funnily enough, that smashed the car to pieces, tore the chassis open, and also broke the windscreen that I had lying in the boot for the last 2 days, because I thought, well, in the car is obviously the safest place for it. I can't possibly drop it. What a fool I was. So I had that SLK one, couldn't get another one for, I think I paid £30 or something, or £40 for the SLK one, which was a bargain. Actually, no, it must have been more than that. I think, because I ended up claiming that as part of the insurance, so it must have been more. And the following one that I got was 30 out of the scrapyard, and the one that I got out of the scrapyard instead was from a smart car. So there was one in, absolutely pristine windscreen, fantastic, and I convinced them that they definitely wanted to take that windscreen out for me, and they really didn't, because it was an absolute nightmare. Yes, Annie, they actually did pay out for the loss of cost of the glass. I'm trying to remember how much it was, but I know the smart one I got out of the scrapyard was £30, because I thought, that is amazing. I'll never find another windscreen that cheap. That's absolutely hilarious. And what we were looking for was something that was long enough that we could rake it back, but if we raked it, it wasn't going to cause a massive wraparound that we basically had a dome across the top of the car. It probably would have worked and we would have got away with it, but it would have been an extra complication. And when we were wandering around the scrapyard, we saw the smart one and we sort of thought about it a little bit, and yeah, it worked really nicely. It had the right amount of rake to it anyway, it had the right amount of height that would fit in with where we needed it to be for my height sitting in it. And yeah, so when the A6 got written off, I actually got the cost of the glass paid back to me. I did try and get the cost of replacing the glass, which second hand I found for about £180, but they wouldn't pay out for the cost of a new piece, or even a new second hand piece. They would only pay out for the cost that I had lost on the one that had been broken, which I think it was going to be 3 times as much, so it must have been about 60 or 70 quid for the previous one, and I ended up getting the smart one instead for 30. So I was quite surprised in a way that they paid out, but by the same token, it was in the car, it was damaged, it was a result of the accident, so I was pretty certain I was going to argue that point as long as I possibly could until I got a firm no, go away. And I didn't get one, so they paid out on it, which was nice. Now, the point at which we thought we were being really smart, haha, see the pun there? Yeah, I'm getting disapproving looks from the production team. We got this smart, so the Smart for 2, as Emma pointed out, it is a Smart for 2. The one on the left is actually a second gen. It is a W451 Smart, 2-seater with the bonded windscreen that drops in. And we had this at home, and we thought, yes, we need this, and all of the stuff. Thanks, Aid. You're just ignoring it to make sure that it's kept down. So yeah, we thought, yep, we'll go and get that, but we need something to fill it in with the edge. So we'll pick up the rubber seal from the scrapyard when we go to get the windscreen wiper motor. So we went down, we got the windscreen wiper motor out, all was well, and we got the windscreen seal off. Then we started getting the windscreen wiper motor out, which we had to modify a bit more and actually move the motor from where it is here in the centre over to this side so that it would actually fit around where the fuel tank was. I'm glad I am. And we very specifically thought we have a 450 windscreen, so we're going to get the rubber trim from a 450 and the windscreen wipers and everything else, not realising that we actually had a 451 windscreen at home. So we now have 2 different smart car parts in the car. The windscreen from a 450 and the wiper motor set from a 451. Wiper motor from a 450 and a windscreen from a 451. So fortunately they still work, they work perfectly well. We've angled them, we've tested them, everything is fine. We have had to get a new windscreen. Chris unfortunately rolled the car over and it smashed as he tipped it out. It was already pretty badly broken, in fairness, from where I was building the framework that actually supports it, lifting it in and out all the time, just taking little chips off around the corner here and there, weakened it, and then it just cracked all the way up the middle. So it was completely useless, but it was holding up the top over the top, and it was giving it a much better idea of how it looked, but it is absolutely shattered to pieces now, so we haven't bothered really putting that in again since. So that was the Smart, and then there was a bunch of other bits that we needed to find homes for, or rather find solutions for, and we found homes for those random bits. Now, The springs, eventually, we started actually using some Mark II Golf springs for the rear because I could put the fronts on my Mark II Golf because I had some miscellaneous no-name stuff on there and it seemed like a good idea to just put something else on. And we can use the rears on the back, everything would be fine. I already had some no-name coilovers on the Mark II Golf at the time, so that was a pointless endeavour, as I discovered many months later after buying them. And B, the shocks that we had in the back were still too soft anyway, so we decided to get something for the front of the car, and whilst we were looking around, we thought, oh, we'll just get some Caterham ones, because that's exactly what we need. They're the right length, they're short, perfect. And I actually found a set of 4 Caterham shocks, which use Bilstein shocks and IBAC springs, and in trying to get just 2, if I'd been looking for a set of 2 fronts, I'd have had to buy them brand new from Caterham or another supplier of them, and it would have been the better part of, I think, about 300 quid for 2. And I found a full set of 4 online without... I think there was a couple of parts that were missing to them. Some of the spring seats and the hats were missing. And they were about 100 quid. And I ended up getting another set after that for about 150, 160 quid and selling the other ones that were a complete set of Bilsteins with the IBAC springs on and everything. And it still would have been less for those 2 sets than buying just the 2 fronts that I needed. So that was very, very convenient. And I ended up selling the first set on again for basically what I paid for them. So it was a win all told. But they would have been on something like that, which is probably what we should have built in the first place with no experience of ever doing this before. That would have been a really, really smart idea, but the look of those, I'm just not enamoured with the look of the Caterham 7. I don't know what it is. They're nice, they're great cars, it just doesn't jump out at me at any point and go, I need one of those. I would have one, definitely, but there are other things that I would spend my money on beforehand. I don't know what it is about. I think, well, having since sat in one, I know exactly why I wouldn't want one. It's because my head sticks the better part of 4 or 5 inches above the windscreen, so I'll be like this constantly driving down the road, and that's just miserable. So yeah, so it's best that we didn't perhaps do that, and we ended up with what we've built with the big cage and everything else on, even though it's going to be heavier. So we ended up also looking for an exhaust, and in order to find an exhaust, I spent about an hour and a half trawling through eBay just looking for exhaust back box, and that was it. And just going through and looking and looking and looking and looking, and eventually found one from a GT86, which was slightly inboard of the edge, as a very small... Well, there is also that problem, man. Yeah, I would have been taller than the roll bar, but I could feasibly get a roll bar that would just be high. You know, if it's just a little single hoop one like that, they're relatively easy to come by and or fabricate compared to a full cage. So it could have been worse. But the GT86 one is what we ended up with because of the alignment of the input and output from the box, because we had the... so looking at the back of the car, the turbo exits, it has to come around, then go through a catalytic converter because of the age of the engine is what we're assessed on, as we're after 1994, I think. We have to have a cat, and as a result, the cat, we have to have a cat for emissions because of the age of the engine, and it's a pain. So we have to put that in somewhere. It has to be far enough away from the turbo exhaust so that it doesn't just burn it to death, and then it has to go into a box, and then the box has to come out. Yes, we could have bought all the parts for one, however that would have been expensive as well to try and get all of the bits and then weld it up, and I didn't I didn't have access to a welder for stainless steel at the time. Basically I didn't want all of the expense of buying a whole setup in one go, and as it turns out, the box that I bought was 50 quid, which was absolute steal for what it is. It should keep it quiet enough so that we can start with a nice quiet exhaust, and we can always make it a little bit louder to get a bit better noise out of it later, rather than having to build this lovely exhaust and then silence it later, which would be an absolute pain in the backside. So yeah, didn't want to do that, didn't want to play that game. So we bought this exhaust, modified it, shortened the intake side slightly, and since then we've also shortened the outlets so that they don't quite sit as far out as they would have originally done. And on the same theme as pipes, we ended up putting the centre section from an MGF radiator system all the way from the engine straight through what was the transmission tunnel, which is now a water pipe tunnel and brake lines, all the way through to the centre to go into the radiator at the front. So lots and lots of different cars in this, and as you can see here, this is the GT86. For those of you who again have never seen one before, which I think is probably nobody given the folk that I can see in the chat, and this should be an MGTF. There we go. So this is the wiki. I think this is actually an MGF, not a TF. I could be wrong. I've renamed it as something different. So, but if Chris is still in chat, Chris, talk to me. He can probably tell me whether or not that is an F or a TF, and or if Sam is next to him and he can see, because he's had many of them. So yeah, so that's kind of where we ended up on all of the build up on the car, which is as I say, still ongoing, which isn't great. But of course, as was pointed out, we get distracted from time to time, and we have other things. Chris has his daily, so we've been doing his SD1 as well, and done lots of work on that. We've done some 0 to 60 tests on a de-restricted section of closed public highway. Yeah, it works. De-restricted, closed, perfectly reasonable, honest, definitely. No, we'd never be irresponsible, never. Plus, we were doing 60, and it was a 60 limit, so it must have been fine.
I'm just trying to remember where you did that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Secrets. And what we discovered was the SD1 was in fact extremely slow. I think the best run that we got out of it was something like 14 or 15 seconds to 60, which was slow even for what we expected it to be. One run, granted, it did register that we'd done 320 miles an hour, which seems a little bit unreasonable. However, it was definitely not as sprightly as it should have been. And then we did some tune-up work. We changed I think we did plugs, leads, distributor, something else as well, and it made no difference whatsoever. Absolutely nothing. And Chris has been well into that, and obviously got another engine now and done various other things with it as well. So that's kind of coming on, where we did brakes on it, and we've got new calipers to put on. He has his big turbo build that he's planning for the new engine, once the new engine is rebuilt. It's currently running on the new head with the old block, because the old head, I think, it didn't disintegrate, but it wasn't doing particularly well. So that's kind of in progress, but largely on hold because weather, other projects, cash flow, the usual things that really screw up a big plan, because Chris, instead of doing that, did the sensible thing and actually stopped it rotting into the ground, which is a much more important thing to do with those cars. So it was in for something like 9 months, I think. It was being looked at, had new panels welded in, full respray, everything. It looks really good. But obviously, you do something like that, and it takes up a big old chunk of your cash reserves. So now everything else is just kind of slowly building back up into that. But there's a bunch of parts, so we can get those on hopefully in the coming year and move towards having a turbocharged 2600 SD1 in the fleet, which will be great fun. Might as well actually put me back on. There we go. And we can you start up the video in the background again, please, Yolanda?
I think it's been going since.
Good enough. Yeah, just
So if you flick it to VTPC, or I could do it. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
There you go.
Yes. So this is us building parts of the aforementioned rear suspension that was such an enormous pain in the backside to do. But yeah, so the SD1 is coming along reasonably nicely with that. The other projects on the go, obviously the Thunderbird and the Mark II Golf as well. The Thunderbird is finally back together, mostly. The wheels aren't on the front yet. I still need to get a new tyre. Well, definitely one new tyre. I mean, really, I need 4 because they are fairly old. But just to have it sitting level on the ground and not sinking on one corner because one of the tyres is flat, I do need to get 4 new tyres. That's about £400. So do buy some merch. Buy some merch and I can buy some tyres. So that's where that's up to. But all of the body panels on the front clip are back in. All of the brakes are sorted except for basically filling it with fluid. I need to get some DOT 3 in order to do that, and fashion a sort of pressure bleeder lid, because the pressure bleeder we have for a VW Audi setup, weirdly, doesn't work on a 60s Thunderbird. What's that about? It seems ridiculous. But I've seen how they do it on a couple of the other ones. They just literally have a plate that sits over the top of the reservoir, and then they just clamp it down with a piece of chain and some bolts to hold it in, with like a piece of rubber to seal it. So I'm just going to do something like that and hope that it'll work perfectly, which it inevitably won't, but we'll see what happens. So that's, I need to fabricate something in order to pressure bleed the brakes, all being well. And then we can bleed the brakes on it, we can put it on the deck, and hopefully try and see if it actually moves forward and backward under its own power once we make sure that the bores aren't in fact full of water, which would be very, very disappointing if they are, because I have gone to great pains to cover the intake up every single time to make sure that water and rain and weather does not get into that carb. Inevitably it probably will have, because that's just my luck with rebuilding that car at the moment. Something comes up and just trips me at the last hurdle. So we're going to take plugs out, turn it over, make sure there's nothing inside. I've got a little camera on a stick that we can poke down and see more things. Check what the bores look like. Worst case, you can just throw a little bit of ATF into the bores and run it through, and it works surprisingly well, which is nice. That's a nice little trick that I picked up from Roadkill. Apparently it works. I'm hoping it works. If I have to do it, I'll tell you that much. But all being well, that will be back on the road for the next year. Yes, push button, receive bacon. I will not be posting you bacon. I will send you a t-shirt if you want a t-shirt or a mug or something. I will send you what you actually order, not bacon. If you do want bacon, many supermarkets are available, and Amazon will also probably deliver it to you from one of them. I think Morrison's is on Amazon at the moment, but yeah, so yeah, shop at Morrison's. Go and do that. Buy bacon, cook bacon, eat bacon, or don't. I'm not a cop.
Just alienate all the vegetarians.
I said, or not. I'm not a cop. I can't mandate that you must bacon. That would be.
This is true.
Yeah, that would be very presumptuous of me. But anyway, the Thunderbird is back together. The paint is looking so much better. It's not a great paint job by any stretch of the imagination, but it is looking way better than rust and various colours and Bondo. However, it only goes as far as the windscreen, which is a little bit of a problem. The next up on the bodywork list for that is fitting the new patch panels that we got, I think 2 years ago. No, 3 years ago we bought them, and we got them back here 2.5 years ago, and I've basically been terrified of doing bodywork ever since. And now I've done quite a lot of bodywork and sheet metal work. Yes, the chrome on the front of the Thunderbird looks wonderful, and that's absolutely not because it was Vix who sat with some G3 and polished the whole lot up and took as much of the overspray and paint off from whoever else had done it before. It's definitely not perfect because none of the parts on that car that are chrome are perfect, except for the trim around the windows, actually. They're looking amazing because I think they were replaced at some point by somebody with more time and money than me. But yeah, we put the other bumper on so it's not all rusted and scabby. We had to beat the bumper back into shape, which, when you're trying to beat the better part of about 50 or 60 pounds of pressed steel, chrome plated in a vise, it's a bad day. But wrenching it and twisting it round, it's got it basically straight. It's still not perfect, but it's a lot better than the other one because the other one was crusty. And the new one is nice and shiny for the most part, but just a little bit like that. So, yeah. It's looking a lot better. But the grille is on, emblem's back on. As many of the parts as possible are back on the car. except for a couple that I'm not sure how they fit back on. They seem to be like a press fit in, and I don't trust them not to just fall out now that I've prized them off, and I can't remember exactly how I fit them on, so I'm not sure how I'm going to do that. But that's a problem for future me. But the whole front clip is looking really nice now. That's getting close to the point where it can be undersealed inside the arches before it really goes out anywhere. It's just not much of a priority right now because it's not going to be going out during this winter, so it'll wait. So the next plan is, the next stage of that plan is to do the bodywork on the back of the car, put those plates, put the new patch panels in, get those two in place, sort out the stuff in the front of the wheel arch as well, just behind the door, and then we can actually do a rough paint job on the whole thing and get it all one colour. And it's not going to be a good paint job, and this is exactly what I said to Colin when he was helping me do it, because I managed to borrow his very, very nice, big, swanky spray booth in order to paint it.
So you didn't kill a horse?
Yes, yeah. TIL, you can kill a horse by spray painting. Don't do it. The spray booth was fantastic and absolutely above what I am capable of or worth actually doing, because where my skills lie is definitely probably just barely above the driveway spraying outside paint job, which isn't much. Whereas Colin and all of his crew down there are significantly better than that, but my prep work was terrible. I got fatigued basically just doing all of the prep work, sanding it and then rubbing it back and yeah, it's fine, and then having to put more primer on again and then sanding it and just going round and round and round and round, and I lost all of my enthusiasm for doing that after dipping in and out of it for 6 months. I just need a coat of paint on this and just to walk away from it for a while and move on. So I got a coat of paint on, a coat of lacquer on, and moved on with my life. And then we put the car back together. That was the moving on part, and now, as I say, we're on to that. Obviously the fuel tank is done as well, which is excellent news. That seems to be in a lot better condition than either of us thought that was going to be, which is really nice. All being well, the Golf, after it kind of ate a bearing, because we have had the sump off and had a look in, and number 3 bearing, I think it is completely chewed. It is ruined, which has almost certainly scored, well, it has scored the cam, for one, which is bad. It's almost definitely scored the underside of the same rod, and we only got 4 bearings along. I think one was fine, 2 was kind of okay, 3 was terrible, 4 was questionable, but basically you would give up at this point anyway. We didn't even look at 5 and 6. At that point, it was a case of we need to put a new crank in. So crank has been sourced, rods have been sourced, so it can all be done. And the only thing that has stopped me doing it this year is I keep going, I haven't got the space to pull an engine and take it all apart and rebuild it and do it. I've just got to get the engine back into the kit car. And that took all of summer. And then I've just got to move all of the parts of the Thunderbird and get them back. And that has taken all of the summer. So we are 11 months since we basically melted the engine. And we still haven't done anything on it. Not a jot. We've looked at it and gone, oh, and used the bonnet as a shelf. And that's basically where we've got to, which is kind of disappointing. But it does mean that over the winter, we can pull that engine out and actually do the build on it. And we can keep the door of the garage closed, and then we can be remotely warm for some of the winter and do some stuff inside rather than continually being outside in the cold when it's raining. So there is a saving grace from that respect. Now I do have to wonder what it is that has caused Vix to crease up for the last 5 minutes on the floor underneath the camera. Because this is...
It was an autocorrect thing.
Oh, okay. Right, so it was self-imposed then.
Oh, no, it was me. I said...
Oh, right. Okay, fair enough.
We were wondering whether or not it was ready for a dessert interlude.
Ah.
to bring out the.
Yes, that is probably a reasonable idea. Whilst I just wrap up on the state of the projects.
Greg makes good points.
I do need more storage, and more storage may be forthcoming soon. TM. Greg knows a little bit about that, but it's all a bit up in the air at the moment. However, you're gonna miss me for a second whilst Yolanda goes zoom across camera because she's going to go and get desserts because we have various different cake-related things in celebration of 4 years, because what's better to celebrate with than cake when you've been around this long and still not really achieved anything? Damn. So whilst they're grabbing that, I will just wrap up on where we're at with the various other projects. Chris's Mark 1 is still underneath the cover outside, which you might see in the background of some shots. It's still sitting there going, oh, waiting on some panels, and then I can have a crack at welding those in and we can do something with that. I know he's got some plans on that one. As I say, the Mark II is probably going to end up being the next big project on the channel as well. Once this kit car chassis is done, the Mark II is probably going to be the next big one, because we can hopefully be driving and tooling around with the kit car. I say kit car, it's not a kit car. Triggers Zoom. We can go and tool around with that and have some fun, and then take the Golf properly off the road again, like as if it hasn't been for 3 years now, and rebuild that. And that will be turbo and cage and a lot of just TLC really. So the turbo itself is going to be obviously turbo, exhaust manifold, potentially a new exhaust all the way to the back. I don't know whether or not 2.5 might be enough for that, I would guess, and a bunch of other bits and pieces around fixing that up. And as I say, putting a cage in at some point. I was always going to do turbo, then 4-wheel drive, then cage, but actually it kind of makes sense to do making it 4-wheel drive at the same time as the cage, because it's going to be empty and flip the whole thing over and just do the whole thing in one go. So the Golf is probably going to be the next big project following up from this, and that will be a 4-wheel drive turbo caged Mark II Golf with some probably bit of aero fun going on as well. We'll try and make it a little bit more interesting. Try and emulate a little bit of the Pinder Wagon, which if you haven't seen the Pinder Wagon, do go and have a look at that as well. That is an absolutely storming Mark II Golf that it likes to get air on various bits of the Nürburgring, and buns are now arriving, which you're going to try and squeeze through. It's not going to work. I see what you mean. So I was told that the hang on, you just have to bear with us a moment. Desserts are arriving. So we have many desserts here. I'm just going to move Chris over here slightly.
I love that you're still referring to it.
It's Chris is in the building in the form of a mug. I'm not saying Chris is a mug. That seems a bit harsh. Right.
So far, the cake is a lie.
The cake is no longer a lie.
So Vix has definitely put more effort into this.
We swap these around this way. These are our iced buns. Now, in fairness, what I understand that these iced buns, you bought the buns.
Yes.
And then mixed up the icing and put the icing on. Yes. And it all just kind of bled and exploded everywhere.
Yes.
Fabulous. So this is Yolanda's contribution, is some bread with some mess. This is definitely not an eaten mess. This is much more public school mess than private school mess.
They do look a little bit mouldy.
They actually do look really genuinely mouldy.
You're gonna need this.
Where it's kind of what for that one?
No, for them.
For them, probably, yeah.
I can confirm, why not? They are not mouldy.
It's not mould. It's just where the orange and the blue and the white have all gone and melted together to form a kind of green mottled, been in the fridge for a couple of months look. It's an interesting aesthetic. Right. So I'm going to attempt. Well, no, I'm going to get some kitchen roll to try and tidy myself up with afterwards because this is going to be a mess. I only need a piece of it, not a roll.
Have you seen how much is it?
Okay, I passed the roll.
Ready?
Right. I'm going to attempt to hand these out. Do we know if Sean is also in?
He is.
He is in.
Would he like... Sean, if you're on the stream, would you like some cake? This is literally the most inefficient way to speak to your housemate is to set up an entire studio, do a stream for the better part of an hour and a half, and then try and talk to the person who is less than 20 yards away as the crow flies upstairs. It seems like a deeply, deeply useless... Well, it's not useless, it's just very inefficient. Although, make another stream. Oh no, Ronald has just made it to another stream. Hooray! Right.
They do look really dodgy on the camera.
They genuinely do. They yeah. Right. Do you want these first? Because I can't get that in until these move out.
Would you like me to bring you a bomb?
Yeah, right. If I take the pip off.
Excuse me, everyone. Don't mind
Well,
me.
no, if you take the pip off. And then
Yeah.
the slight finger slip in talking to Vix about ice buns. Might have been what.
Okay. I'm going to move these down here onto this conveniently located table.
It was the word bun, but with an M on the end. Iced bun.
Okay, I
And
got
it
a
broke
hankering
me.
for an ice bun.
Right. Okay. So these. Hang on. I'm going to. Switch back the other way. So these are the reason. Oh, hang on, that's confusing. These are the reason that Vic's creased because these are iced bums. I kind of want to cut this in half, you know, and do like a proper Paul Hollywood.
Sean says sure. He's on his way down.
Okay, cool. Well, you can come and join me here
got
as
that.
like another face of the old channel. John telling me he might need to grab a plate.
We'll see him as he
Yeah, we'll
comes
see as
down.
he comes down.
Well, this is also true. Right. Where were we? This is the throwing part.
How do
Yeah,
you-
has Loki just actually run off?
Yeah, he has.
Completely.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Well, hopefully he's putting something out on the old socials, but I strongly doubt
Grab
it.
some kitchen roll, please.
You'd like some kitchen roll, would you? Yeah.
Thank God.
There we go.
Grab a plate. Grab a plate.
I'm going to grab my main course first.
Okay, so Sean has appeared. Confirmation that he still exists. We didn't just kill him and rob him of his car. But yeah, so let's just have a proper look at this. There we go.
That is very icing sugar.
Apparently it's a bit sweet. So you can see this is a classic shop bought bun here. It does have a good irregular structure. It's almost like I know what I'm talking about because I've watched 12 seasons of Bake Off.
You can get a
And
Hollywood
it's,
handshake.
no. It's just as if Yolanda was going to get a Hollywood handshake, and the answer is an affirmative no. Oh, sorry, a firm no.
And you should put cream in them, shouldn't we?
Yeah,
That
we should
is.
put cream in.
Very sweet. Like, goddamn.
It's just
Oh.
icing.
It has a second wind of sugar. How have you made something that has multiple waves of sugar?
It wasn't intended.
I can't actually eat it.
Yeah, to be fair, Victor's also a diabetic, so I'm presuming this is just trying to kill her. Right, I'm going to put that to one side because
But I will take it.
that needs something to take the
We'll swap plates. There you go.
that needs something to take the edge off. The sweetness, like more sugar, would actually somehow make that less sweet. Because damn.
Everyone says you make a great one.
He still has more hair than me.
It's true.
Let's just make a loud noise.
Oh, yeah.
Spoon is spoon. Right, and this is the actual proper mess. Hang on, Sean is loitering. I'm going to pass Sean one of the mouldy buns.
I'll let you
Thank you very much.
Orange. Tastes like orange.
Snosberries taste like snosberries.
It's all going on now.
I think I've just ruined it.
Oh, right. So this piece of sugary nightmare fuel. Actually, no, this isn't sugary nightmare fuel. This is just going to be a chance. I need another plate. Damn it.
Why don't you put them on the kitchen?
Yeah, I'm going to put bun on here, so I actually have some space to put some of this cake on. Not cake, tart.
Pie. It's
Pie.
a pie.
It's officially a pie. This is Grasshopper Pie.
Yes, no grasshoppers were harmed in the making of this pie.
Shame.
But this
So-
is the PedalBox 4 birthday.
Yes.
Thing.
So we would put candles on this, but you know, fire hazard. I am enough of a fire hazard at the best of times, and
There is a metal plate under the bottom of it still.
okay, that's why I can't cut through that particular part because it's metal, and I'm using a cake knife. No.
There's also maybe some chocolate chunks in there too.
Okay, this is going to be a fight to get through, is what you're saying. So if I just take a quarter, yeah, you want a quarter?
You can have as much as you want.
This is going to be
You're the one that has to taste it.
This is going to be a challenge to try and cut through and then move. Cake slice is the word that I was looking for.
Well, we could bring you the cake.
I didn't get that. Now, I've got the cake slice right
I
here.
was going to say.
To be fair, it's set really well. Like that's a genuine bona fide slice. Like that doesn't come out and it doesn't pour over and it doesn't fall everywhere. Like that
Better than
actually.
some of the people on Bake Off. So
No
Yeah.
soggy bottoms
Yeah.
either.
Like genuinely, there are people on Bake Off who have made things that leak and bleed everywhere. Admittedly, you did make this set with how many marshmallows?
Only 150 grams.
It's still quite a bit.
Oh.
Right, there is the piece for Sean.
He's playing with the Meowing manager right now.
Ah, Loki is in the building, but then he never really left the building. Would you like an eighth?
Yes, I don't know. Just cake.
Some volume of cake.
I think I've had my tablet, so yeah, that should be fine.
I was thinking, can I just have a spoonful? I might have overdone it on the sugar.
You can have a spoonful of mine if you want. I did eat my bun.
You've
as
had
well.
okay, so Yolanda's not having any of this cake right now because she's had 2 of her super duper iced buns, which
So,
are
how much sugar?
200% sugar
That's
by
all
volume.
Yes.
I've made a critical
I like
error.
Greg's comment.
Critical error.
Only 150 grams. Yeah. What have you done?
Critical
I'll put
error.
them on
I-
camera now. There you go.
Yeah, you're gonna have to. Yeah, that makes life possible.
Yeah, that's what you-
So I should be fine. Famous last words. Yeah, pretty much. Right.
Ooh, that is very nice.
So Grasshopper Pie, obviously it has marshmallows in, as we just discussed. Isn't it all, so it's cream,
Cream
marshmallow,
and milk.
milk,
You
more
melt
dairy.
the marshmallows in the milk.
Okay, so you warm the milk,
Yeah.
and with the marshmallows in, and it basically turns into a gelatinous mess.
No, not gelatinous, like a fluffy kind of marshmallowy soup.
Okay,
Then you add alcohol,
so this has creme de menthe in it.
and the other one is our chocolate and mint
Oh,
as
creme
well.
de cacao.
Yeah, it's got creme de cacao in it as well.
Yes, creme de cacao, which is chocolatey,
Yeah.
chocolate stuff, basically.
Bourbon biscuits in the base, and dark chocolate, and butter.
Now I'm just going to steal all of these bourbon biscuit pieces that fell out when I cut it,
And then
because
you
this is at least another bourbon biscuit right here. So
whisk the cream, let the marshmallow stuff cool down, and then whisk in the marshmallow stuff with the cream. And then, ta-da!
this seems perfectly reasonable. Yeah, I like this a lot. I did have some other spirits to put in, however, I only told Vix that they existed. after it was all mixed up and in the fridge and cooling, so I kind of failed on that front.
The milk's
However-
got stronger.
I fully intend to pour some over the top at some point. Mostly because it needs using.
Okay, we have got creme de banane. I mean, it would be different.
They do it
Instead of the mint, yeah.
Mm.
So now this is
Yeah.
turning into how to make a cocktail in a pie. We're just discussing whether or not you could swap out the creme de menthe and put creme de banane in,
To be
which
honest.
you absolutely probably could.
I think it would work with any alcohol.
And creamy, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you basically could. Yeah.
Oh, boozy banoffee pie.
I could do a boozy banoffee pie.
Yeah. Maybe next week we'll have a boozy banoffee pie.
Oh my god, I could do that for every stream. I could bake something.
You could. We could literally sit here and die. Vix has just realised she could make something like this for every single stream. I'm like, yes, you could. We could comfortably just die in a coma every single stream.
To be fair, we were expecting more people to be here to
Yes.
eat
Yeah, we were
things.
trying to cater for a few more. Currently, there are the 4 of us, but we were hoping to have a few more people down, including Chris. I mean, we could just stuff a piece of this into his mug, but that seems counter.
Seems
Put
a
it on
little
the
bit
spoon and like feed it to your mum.
There you go, Chris. Here comes the race car. Meow.
This just goes back to your discussion earlier of how useful it would be to have kids.
You'd be feeling a lot. Actually, there's 2 ways. This would kill. No, those ice buns would kill or cure M. I don't know which one, but it would be one extreme or the other. You would either feel great or you would die further. Go on, go on, Aid. Drive up here. You know you want to. It's a Saturday. You got tomorrow off. What could possibly go wrong? Plus, you can come and see our social media manager,
Who is in the room?
who might have just made it barely into the room,
He's not convinced.
who has absolutely no interest in any people food whatsoever. So he can come up here. He'll probably have a sniff and then just go, "Nah, don't want it." But yeah.
Yeah, that would be problematic right now.
Mm.
To be fair, I have a crafty little wobble pop on the side here that I'm just going to
That you've not
sip from.
touched at all.
No, I haven't. Not yet. I had a lot of things to try and remember the order of and dump
It's a
information
very nice
in.
local brewery, that one though. Weren't they the ones that accidentally ended up on our doorstep?
Yeah, so interesting. So this one is, I'm going to try not to advertise and upset the YouTube algorithm here, but at some point, somebody somewhere vaguely local to here ordered a 12-pack of Renegade Lager, and it arrived at our house, and we hadn't ordered it, and it had a different name on it. It actually had a different address on it as well. It wasn't number 1 Parkside. It was literally nothing in this area, and that was unfortunate. And brewery had no idea. They couldn't trace it. Nobody came to collect it. So we went, okay, well, we'll leave it. So we left it for, I think, 3 months.
Something like that.
Yeah, and then gave up. And basically, in the end, it was going to go to waste. So we made sure that it didn't. Yeah, this has worked very, very well. We definitely need... Maybe we'll celebrate every single month that we have going forward. Hooray! We made it another month. Pie.
Well, we're doing gingerbread in December.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, yeah, the suggestion has been made that I'm going to receive all the constituent parts of a gingerbread car and then try and assemble it on stream, which is probably going to be a lot harder than building, say, a Lego car. And I'm going to make a massive mess of it. But it'll be interesting to see, nonetheless.
Must drink beer beforehand.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear. But yeah, I think this has been a resounding success. So I'm just going to read up on comments while I'm trying to eat this.
We're also very anti-food waste, Greg. It's you know.
Yeah.
doing our bit.
It was very much the responsible thing to do, so that it didn't just go to waste and rot away, and in one of those highly suspicious sealed glass bottles. You wouldn't want to risk it. You definitely want to make the most of it and to recycle the glass so it can go into other beers, and then you rectify the problem because eventually the glass in the bottles ends up back at the brewery and gets reused. So really, I'm just helping out, honest. But yeah,
Nice tight welding with the icing. Yeah, the last time I made gingerbread houses when I was nannying, we did almost perfect icing cement. It was only like my 5th attempt at making gingerbread houses, which when you're doing it with small children and they collapse, they don't see the hilarity of it, they just find it really depressing.
Greg, are you expecting me to be able to stack tight dimes of icing? Because I don't think that's going to happen at all. What I think is going to happen is it's going to be a mess, and then it's going to collapse, and it's definitely not going to pass an IVA.
Oh no, we should get multiple people.
Greta would be proud. Are you suggesting we're going to have a multi-person build-off for
Yeah.
Christmas?
Yeah.
Okay, so there are a few of our patrons who are local to us, including, basically everybody who's chatting in the channel is like within an hour of here. So we might end up having some kind of crazy build-off for Christmas where we try and build gingerbread things. To be fair, if we did it right, we could actually use the dial-in PC at the back so that we could talk to other people as well, but have it even more distributed and get a couple of other people involved too. Or just have them down one way or another.
Yeah.
That could be quite good fun. Yeah, alright, maybe I'm sold on this idea of building a gingerbread car.
It was just a throwaway comment this episode.
Well, not anymore.
We were looking
Apparently
at
not.
Apparently
gingerbread
not.
spooky houses, weren't we?
Yes.
And then we're like, do a gingerbread car. And then it kind of...
Right. At some point, I'm going to have to stop eating and actually talk properly to the camera, but right now, is where I inhale a piece of bourbon biscuit and it kills me.
No.
Don't do that. That's a terrible idea.
The audio manager is now lying at the door. He's chilling out.
Ah, okay. Do you want to take that back out?
Take it away from me.
Yeah. Well, it's more whether or not the old Meowdio manager wants to get involved on camera.
Thank you, Charlie. I think I'm having a sugar rush.
Right. Okay, that didn't work. Oh, yes it did. I'm just watching the slightly delayed stream, which is why the changes didn't work. The pie can make a comeback. And again, if you were to just, I don't know, drive up here tomorrow, Aid, you could have some. Yeah. If there's any left. Which I'm not going to guarantee right now.
Internal cinnamon engine.
Oh, an internal cinnamon engine. Are we talking suspension made of Twizzlers here? Ah, no, marshmallows. You would obviously have suspension with marshmallows for full effect. The licorice all sort wheels. God, I can't remember how you spell licorice.
Depends where you're
LIC,
from.
isn't it? Or is it LIQ?
I can never
LIQ.
remember the American one. The Americans spell it a different way to us.
Obviously. If you,
Genuinely getting a headache now.
Oh.
it's not really surprising with the sheer volume of sugar in that. There we go.
Sorry.
Licorice Catherine wheels. If you want to
Yeah,
put the thing up a second on.
I'll just go back to my sugar-free drink, shall I, to combat the sugar I just eaten.
Okay, so yeah, so we need to get right. Okay, this is.
It's going to be a lot of stuff in Costco.
So we're, I've never seen them in Costco.
Oh, I have.
So we're now planning out. The Christmas live stream is going to be building. We got the.
1 second. Yep, there and.
Done.
Hey.
Yeah. So the Christmas stream is now going to be. Building gingerbread cars with marshmallow suspension, licorice Catherine wheels. What else can you use? That's a good point. Em said wagon wheel wheels. I mean, really, I'm all in favour of wagon wheel wheels, to be fair, because licorice is terrible.
Yeah, but at least you get structural integrity with licorice. I don't think you get the structural integrity with wagon wheels.
Would you, though?
You would, because there's firmer, whereas the wagon wheel, I mean, they're like not lumpy.
Do you know what, Greg? I have been distracted. You are not wrong. However, I think it's for a good cause, so I will run with it.
Jaffa cakes might work,
Jaffa cake steering wheel, obviously.
but you have to like chew the middle, and so it's like a little hollow steering wheel.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 See,
Um,
arguably,
it-
Catherine
it-
wheels would work.
Okay,
better
well,
for
hang on,
steering
wait.
wheel.
It feels like the only thing we're solving here is wheels, and all we're doing is putting round things in and going, that round biscuit, that could be a wheel. Jammy Dodgers, that could be a wheel. It really doesn't feel like we've fixed anything else.
Those licorice things with like the filling in the middle of like those licorice sticks.
Yes.
Like framing.
Yeah.
Yeah, those ones that you eat.
Yeah.
You know which ones I mean?
Yeah.
They're on offer at Morrison's at the moment.
Yeah, that's this is going to be funny. I like it though.
Jelly tots for lights. Oh my god. Yeah.
Oh, jelly tot light. Yeah, who said jelly tot lights?
Greg,
Where?
right at the bottom.
Oh, it literally just popped up on there. This is lagging
Swiss rolls.
somehow. Yeah. Swiss roll Flintstone cards. Oh, it's turned into a cape again.
He's on his way to you.
Here. Coming up here.
Meow, dear manager, he's on his way. Let me get up on the table.
You coming up?
But he's
You
not
coming
handled the shape.
I can't even pick him up because I can't get this arm down enough. Yeah. Bribery and corruption. Always. Nope.
Just, he might come back. He's looking. He's like,
He might. See, we pay
See,
we pay
a
very
return-
we pay very fair wages. Other cat bribery snacks are available.
the back as well.
Damn it!
That's why I've kept them
Ooh,
down here.
a matchmaker roll
Oh,
cage.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking we don't limit this to gingerbread anymore.
Yeah,
I think
it's
we
just gonna
go
have to
with
be-
whatever you want.
No,
Yeah.
gingerbread side panel, like gingerbread
Oh, like
bodywork.
bodywork,
Yeah,
yeah,
obviously
yeah.
gingerbread bodywork. I mean, I wasn't going away from that, obviously.
Just make a car that's edible.
Edible car.
And
Now,
you
it can be to scale if you really want to.
I'm not saying there are times when I start thinking about designing a car and get carried away or anything, but might have got carried away here. Do you know what? Cave is right. That is the Skoda cake, the cake car remake, which I am now going to have to try and find.
1-to-1.
Skoda cake car. Find me.
Welcome to the madness, Sean.
Come on. There we go. Right. And we still got this. Unfortunately, I haven't got noise coming through because that's far too complicated to deal with. But yes, there was once upon a time, Skoda made an actual cake car
Oh, I remember.
to full scale and everything, and yeah,
Well,
love it.
Skoda didn't make it. They got people to make it for them.
Well, Skoda financed it. That counts as them making it.
That is how employment works.
Yes, that's exactly how it works. Yeah, that's precisely how it works.
They use Rice Krispies though.
Yes, they do.
So that's another thing that could be used.
and marzipan. I mean, they use marzipan to get a really nice
It's not
finish.
marzipan, that's icing.
The engine is what the golden syrup as oil is just absolutely perfect.
No, I have a disadvantage here because Chris is right in my line of sight. So
And yeah, the jelly lights, and yeah, the jelly lights were genius. Just, I love it so much.
what do you think they did with it afterwards?
Uh,
Smash.
Yes, Emmy. Yeah, Emmy is right. So in 4 years we'll have half a car cake on version 12 with 25 different confectionery donors. Yeah, quite possible.
Can I be in charge of that one?
I'm just trying to go away, Lotus Special. I played myself. There we go. There we go. Right. Okay, so we're going to need some supplies in order to make this work. But yes, I'm definitely in favour of attempting to build. Either do we have competitive or do we have collaborative? That's the real question
This is the
here.
next question.
Do you build 2 or do you build 1? Because I mean, a build off is always an interesting one to try and do.
I do take them quite seriously.
Yeah.
See, I have always been trying to push PedalBox towards the culinary end of the spectrum.
Well, now I'm
Pedal
we can
bake.
do that.
Pedal bake.
Pedal bake.
If when we go back to LA, I do really want to do Scouts at the old Dubliner, given that they are like the Liverpool FC
Yes. Yeah, that would be quite
Like-
entertaining to see.
supporters club, like and like some proper British meals. Production line.
Tablet batteries. To be fair, they are incredibly dense energy storage. Although, yeah, there's. I mean, it's sugar and concentrated sugar with sugar. So yeah, that's
And butter.
Tastler, I like that one.
the taste. Oh
Emma did the Tastler.
God.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's now called the Tastler Challenge. Yeah, are we all set on this? It's the Tastler Challenge.
Oh wait, is anyone making notes on this, by the way?
We've got chat log.
That's fine. It's just, be like, had all these ideas. It's like, what?
Yeah, somebody needs to write this down, and then we're not just dicking about.
I can go get a pen.
Easy
If we
now.
write it down, then it's science.
Yeah, exactly. If we write
we
this
have
down,
paper?
it's science.
I'll do the righty-righty. I think there might be one.
Oh, that's where that went. Oh, huh. I found something I'm pretty sure I'd lost. I got a pen here. I just.
Right, it's official now.
Hopefully, my legs don't try and cramp up. Right. Okay. So, so this is the Tastler Cake Build-Off Challenge.
Car build-off challenge. Car cake build-off.
Oh yeah, I can't. Come on, this is distributed brainstorming amongst all of you here.
To be
The
fair,
moment you take minutes of a meeting, this time is tax deductible. Fantastic. I will make sure I submit these minutes to HMRC and be like, no, work.
following your conversation with Laurie this afternoon, do you think they would?
Probably. I'm probably going to give them a call, but I'll keep that one just quietly under my hat for the time being. But yes, probably that.
I'd very much like to sit somewhere where I can actually write, because this is,
I mean, I can offer you a box.
No, actually,
Well, no, that's not true. I can offer you a Netgear Switch, which
I've
isn't.
got the kitchen roll.
Okay, fair enough.
Actually, no, you sit here.
No, I'm quite happy down here. I'm
Okay, so pedal bake. As if we needed another channel and another project.
We can do pedal bake.
Well, I mean, to be fair, for the winter, it's dark and it's cold outside, so anything that's indoors and warm is really high up on my agenda. So pedal bake,
Yes, got that.
Tastler Challenge,
Got that.
yeah, Tastler Build Off. I wonder if we can get old Muskie to sponsor it.
He's
got
got
him-
better than good.
He's got and it's Sean with the winning move out of the back room.
It needs
Bun.
more power.
Bun is better than good. Oh, what an absolute piece of genius
It's been
right
written
there.
down.
Yeah,
It is official.
It needs small power.
small power. Yeah, okay. How much bake horsepower are these cars gonna have?
Okay, that one's terrible.
Bun is better than food. I still prefer bun is better than good. But yeah, bake horsepower. I'm in favour of that one.
Oh.
What else?
Right now, you're just coming up with puns. You're not actually coming up with
I mean,
the
the
idea.
real question is, I mean, it's not going to fit into the oven so much, and I wouldn't necessarily want to heat it up for as long and then eat it, but I wonder if you could use a tyre as a cake mould.
A tyre?
It's big, it's round, it's basically a
Are you
cake
doing
mould.
it to scale again?
Maybe. Maybe. What else? I mean,
No, all
if
the tyres are
you're
getting
gonna do
garlic in them
the
this time.
if you're gonna do the you're gonna need a very light batter for the headlights, like a Genoese or something like that.
Oh, yeah, just because you watch Bake Off.
Yeah, I'm gonna use this knowledge for something. Hey, watching Bake Off's now a business expense. Sue me. That sounds like research. Sounds like I could. Hang on, 12 series, and your average of 10 episodes a series. I mean, that sounds like 80 hours of
You also
expenditure to me.
2 hours of professional Bake Off as well.
Yeah, we don't count that.
Still Bake Off.
Yeah.
That one showed you how to do sugar work, which you could do for the windows, as Greg said.
PBBO, as Sparky says, PBBO, Taster Challenge, PedalBox Bake Off.
Oh, I like that one too.
Yeah.
P.
You could you could actually take a mould from the tyre in food grade silicone and then cast a full size cake in a mould from the tyre. Yeah, you could do it that way around, but I was more thinking lazy.
So, how is
Very
it going
lazy.
to be judged?
I think it should. Well, I think it should be judged by the commenters.
Okay.
So many moons ago, and there are 1, 2, 3 people I can definitely see. Well, 4 people I can definitely see active in the chat that will remember this. The custom PC cake PC case challenge. That was decided. I could probably dig the video out from that.
Oh, that's the one where Vince made a PC
Yes,
case
a
out
PC case out of
brownies.
brownies. Yeah. So, and I'm pretty sure that Emma, Emmy, Greg, and Aid in chat will
Break.
remember that. Who else is in chat that would remember? I think it's before Chris's time. It might also be before Sparky's time. It's definitely before your time. I was there. You were definitely. Vix was definitely there.
Oh.
So yeah. So basically, they had. Greg's been thinking. Greg's having a small crisis in the chat, and he's obviously been thinking about something, and he feverishly can't manage to put it into the keyboard.
December the 1st until the end of December, or should we have like a time frame?
That is a difficult one.
I mean, to be fair, we can have distributed competition entries, so we can have people doing their own at home, and then we can have like a battle royale to go down. Okay. Yeah, so Emma also entered that competition and made parkin, put too much treacle in, it tasted burnt.
No.
That is unfortunate.
It is largely
To be
unfortunate.
fair, that could be November's bake. Parking is a good bonfire night.
Oh, it is if you burn it. Sorry, Emma. Can I throw you under the bus with that one? But yeah, I think this has potential for like December 1st to start taking entries and then go through and then put them up against various other things. So yeah, PBBO. It's
Is it too close?
this is what I'm. So I work in media, and I'm now sat here going, I know they've trademarked Great British something off, but it's not Great British, and other people have done other like Bake Off there, and I'm like, ooh, So yeah. I mean, it genuinely, I don't think we're a threat to them. However, you do have to defend your copyright in order to maintain your copyright on the global scale, which is a much bigger problem. So, I get it. I don't want to poke that particular bear, you know.
Poke the angry ogre.
To be fair, I think Greg already suggested break off aid. You missed that one. But yeah, basically, Custom PC many years ago at an event called Insomnia did a PC case bake-off where exactly as you would expect, they made PC cases out of cake and other things. Are you gonna come? I have a microphone and he is uninterested in it. Oh yeah, okay. Excuse this interlude whilst we try and get our social media manager on side.
It's because you've taken his chair out.
It probably is, and it's also creaking and making really horrible noises. So.
Worst case, I will grab him and just sit him over there. Ooh.
Good.
Yay!
Good. No, he's.
It's okay. He'll
Hang on. Let's see now. He's up.
Ooh.
So this is Loki. Luna is elsewhere. But at least his tie is almost approximately on straight. Let's see if we can just very, very sneakily just twist it around a little. I think I might have got it. Yeah, you sit there.
It's when he flops. That's what we're on.
Oh, no. I didn't get it enough.
Needs more of a. Yeah,
There we go.
yeah.
There we go. Sparky is apparently excited to have seen Loki on TV, and yeah, that works about right. Yes, Business Cat is here.
Oh.
Must you point your butthole at me?
Better than at the camera.
Touche. Yes, it is.
You coming across? Oh. I think we might get a flop.
Seems a little bit uninterested.
He's chill.
Yeah, he's okay. He's happy.
He's doing his meowdia stuff.
Yeah, you just supervise. Cool. So yes, so they had this PC bake-off competition, and various people did lots of things. And a friend of ours, Bibbs, built this thing out of brownies. Literally stacked like bricks of brownies all the way up. How it stayed up, I don't know. I think it actually started to collapse, but I do have the video I took of that for the event somewhere that I could potentially try and get something together, and if I have enough time, edit it for when we do the inevitably when we apparently do this cake-off final. Yeah, to be fair, we call it the PedalBox cake-off, and then we avoid all of the words except off, and they can't possibly trademark off. Yeah. He's still hunting. I mean, he's not hunting very well because he's missed all of the snacks. On this episode of PedalBox, Aid feeds a cat.
To be fair, he does like the kit car. He doesn't like the Thunderbird.
Ah, he's found his home now. He's hiding down the back of the TT seats. Can you see him all the way through? Sorry, now we're all distracted by cats. Deal with it.
This is the life now.
Yeah, this is the rest of the stream. He's already managed to shed over the laptop. Kitty car. Kitty car. You might have the other one as well. You might be properly in for a treat here. As will Luna be. Yeah, I see what I did. We'll just make a little trail of these all the way across. Might work, might not. Anyway.
Oh, poor box. Poor portal box.
Oh, I like that.
Thus, peak internet has indeed been achieved.
You can put a hashtag cat in this one now, and you'll get loads of views because cat. There you go.
Put on different websites with the tag pussy.
Well,
Different audience.
Skating like
She's getting very, very close to the edge there. Yes, so I think, oh God, I think this is now going to happen.
I'm still making notes, by the way.
We are now apparently accepting entries for cars made of cakes and biscuits.
Starting from the 1st of December.
Starting with, so you have a month to plan. Well, okay, 5 weeks to plan. And then we'll start accepting entries from probably the 1st to say the 14th.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll have a knockout, I think. The best way is to have a knockout round. Rather than just a pure tally votes, we could do it that way, and or we can use a tally of votes in order to create the seedings for a knockout round. And see how we go. Like that. Yeah, that's... this is going to get involved.
See, now what you need to do is get the model makers from school in on it.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, they would beat us all by comparison.
You can enter.
We'll get
either,
wrecked.
You can enter as either a team or as a solo as well.
Yes, yeah. It's team or individual. Okay,
That's
so
the word I was thinking of. Individual.
right. So team or individual entries. You have till the 1st of December in order to get your entries together. We're going to have to do a completely new video around this
Yes.
Yeah.
in order to launch it and actually put time and effort into promoting it as well. Yes, Greg, I expect you to have made a complete car in less than 4 years. I'm going to recommend that you don't go above 1/18th scale because that is a decent size model. That should be like the goal, should be about 1/18th scale. Realistically, if you're doing something that is the size of a Matchbox car, I'm going to call you out on not putting in enough effort, unless it is phenomenally detailed. If you want to do a traffic jam of lots of small cars, I can live with that. You know, small marzipan cars, something like cupcakes. But done like that, okay. But if your only entry is one Matchbox-sized car, I'm not convinced that that is a suitable cake.
So we said we were going to put it up to people to comment to vote, right?
No,
See
we'll do a poll.
We'll do
So
a poll,
we'll probably
okay.
do a poll on YouTube, and we'll follow up through Instagram as things are going on. So if you send us your pictures on Instagram, tag us on Instagram if not, and we can start doing this. But yes, this has now escalated from a hilarious idea into something we're actually doing, which is pretty standard for what I tend to do.
What's the hashtag for Instagram?
Good question. I think to be fair, the hashtag should be PedalBox Cake Off. Yeah. The Renault cupcakes. Oh God. There is also the BMW M3 cupcakes, which again, if you do that, the better you can tie your car into a pun, the better. I'm going to try and employ a dedicated pun judge,
Sean.
Leah.
Sean and Leah.
and myself, we'll have the tie. So whatever your name you come up with, yeah. So we need a naming. That'll score you an additional point for the winner, like 3, 2, 1 for first, second, third as you go down through that. God, this is getting complicated, but it's going to be hilarious if it works. Okay, so who else can I basically reach out to? Obviously LMM, chatting to him earlier. We try and get Decimal Tenths, try and give them a shout. See if Prawn, see if Aid's workshop's in, but see if Aid's in. She has the judge's Seat. No, she's in a Mercedes at the moment.
How fast do you think I can type? I can write. by the way.
It's fine, it's all recorded for prosperity.
Yes,
You can just
exactly,
come back
yeah. Yeah, you can just watch it over. Doing the timestamps for this video is like, here is a history of the car and the various things. Idiocy begins.
Cat. Hey.
Cats. Pedal cat. Yeah, okay, so this is now a distributed brainstorming idea on how to come up with a competition around cakes and cars. And I'm okay with it. So, yeah. So points for best pun, points for best title, puns encouraged. points for best theme. So if you can do something, you know, like Renault cupcakes, anything like that. But obviously you'd have to have a Renault car that was the correct like Megane or Clio Cup or something like that. You can't make like a Laguna. Like, idiocy.
Does Loki drive a Meowdy? Oh my god!
Oh, who said that?
Sparky.
Oh, okay, that hasn't come up yet. There we go. Yes, Loki in fact drives a Meowdy, and if he doesn't, well, he does now. Canonically, Loki drives a Meowdy.
I mean, obviously, because it's his company car.
Well, yeah. Yes. He doesn't want to scratch it on a post, though. He's looking. He's not looking thrilled by all of these puns, but it's good enough. What else? I feel that we're kind of tailing off at this point a little bit, but you know, I'm still kind of okay. And he's left. But he's left his tie behind. He's still just about in the office. That's not on camera.
That's fine.
It's just been hung on the end of the table, but it's just off the corner, so you can't really see it. In the PedalBox expanded unit. Yes, in the PedalBox expanded universe. Oh yeah, pass it here. Yeah. There we go. I can go back holding my phone again. I tell you what, I just watched that throw and catch back again. It was really, really genuinely good.
My pen one was good as well.
Okay, right. Do I have Photoshop on here? Because what we're going to do now is get into live Photoshop.
I've just swapped the back one back to the VTP.
Yes, yeah. Just leave that running for the time being whilst I'm not sure if I have the files on here in order to do it.
Business, Chris.
I don't think Chris has ever looked that smart. Ooh, it's a test to see if he's still watching, you see.
Oh, I was going to say, given the history, given what happened when he was in Formula E.
Yeah. Oh, can't spell my own company name. Go me. I bet it's not that password though, is it? No, it's not. No. I can't see what you're laughing at because I've tabbed off on
just
something.
more you talking to you.
It's what I do. I just chat away. No, I don't want to sign in without my passwords. I'm quite happy remembering it. Obviously, as I visibly can't remember it, typing it away on stream. Yeah, go me. Okay, right. Yeah. Right. What do we actually have on here in order to try and butcher this with? That's the real question here. Why? Why would you do that? Yeah.
I got points for best title, pun, and theme. Was there anything else?
Yes. So obviously taste. Clearly.
But how are we going to do the taste?
Decoration, like quality of the decoration. What do you mean? How are we going to do the taste? I'm going to eat it.
Yeah, but if they're up at DT, how are you going to do the taste?
Send Margaret round to do this.
Yeah, send Margaret. Yeah.
I'm going to get them to taste it and trust that they're going to be honest. And if I think they're lying, they'll get marked down harder. If they visibly throw up on camera, obviously it's a bit of a giveaway.
This is so good.
And they wept a little bit.
Varying stages of Chris's hair throughout these videos.
Yeah, there is some quality variation. Oh look, it's when we were still unconvinced about what on earth we were doing. Same as yesterday.
I was going to say, is that ever changed?
No, not even remotely. Yes, everyone always regrets a long domain name and then goes, "Oh, what did I do?" Okay, this is okay. This is going to be the boring part of the stream, so feel free to just talk amongst yourselves for a little while whilst I That's not helpful in the slightest.
Oh god, the gallon challenge.
Ah, the gallon challenge. What a great way to lose your everything. Come on. Man, I would love it if this laptop would actually play ball for a second.
It isn't taste test, just a scrappage scheme.
There's a lot of cheating
I mean, it is
on
now. Right. This is really annoying because I can't remember what files I actually have on here to do anything at all with. Now you're all just watching me go, what am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. I have no idea what I'm doing.
I'm confused.
I'm sorry, same.
I mean, I heard.
Mm.
Oh my god, that was when you had like a tidy garage.
It's also
Let's not say things we can't take back.
There was an empty bench.
Was there though?
Oh yeah, it's before you put all the bits, like the storage bits, on the back of the
Ah.
benches. It's before lockdown.
This is before 2018.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Actually, no, I think this is 2018,
I was gonna say,
2017.
You did a lot of,
This
like,
would have been in
organisational stuff
This
during
this
lockdown.
would have been in 2018, yeah.
Lockdown was just a thing in the future.
Just a blur. What are we all talking about whilst this actually tries to do something? It's scrapping it to best to landfill. Yeah, pretty much. Yes, correct. That's very much accurate. Everyone is memorable. You just don't necessarily want to. Sometimes they're forced on you. Those memories, they just don't go away.
Sometimes people purposefully put them back up on Facebook so that you see them again and again and again.
Yeah, they do. They're the real champions. Right, this is going to take me a minute.
You said that like 4 times.
It's
and
going
that was
to,
like
and it's
10.
it's still going to take me a minute. It's not helping because I can't.
The
seem
door
to be
looks significantly
tight.
less rusty as well in that video.
It does. And
As in the patio door.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but at the same time it wasn't a functional door, so no.
that jumper's got a lot more holes in it as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's actually not really much of a jumper anymore. It's just cloth with holes in.
Yes, that is in fact the original. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's you're not wrong. Yep, there's not a lot left of that jumper
Nope.
now.
Because it's in my room for some reason.
Are you sure? There are 3 of them. So
Oh, one of them was.
one of them can probably be binned. You know, maybe.
There's
wild
a hip
idea,
in
I
and
know.
everything like that.
It's just a little airborne. It's still good. It's still good.
Lisa, no! It's just a little wet. It's still good. It's still good.
It's gone. Right. What was that? Nope, that's not the one I was looking for.
As the resident knitter / crocheter, I yes, White Knight. Jumpers are just cloth with holes in. It's just that 8 has a rather large hole in his.
Yeah, I mean it's like it's this. Oh, you can't really see from
It's about the size of your laptop.
Yeah, to be fair, it's actually about the size of the laptop. Yeah, it's quite troublesome. That's not what I wanted. For all of this effort, this logo is going to be deeply underwhelming. So underwhelming. Like you have no idea.
What would you class amongst your top skills? Creating underwhelming.
Creating underwhelming logos. Yep.
At
That's
least it's
definitely
better
up
than,
there.
You know, live CAD, I suppose. It's probably less stressful.
Ooh, I've just seen a oh, that would work, wouldn't it? Well, that's not how that works. Oh, no.
I have heard of the Catherine wheel impression, Cabe.
Ah, the Cabethron wheel. Legendary. Right, this is going to be a little bit of a challenge to deal with this one. I need to. Oh God, this is going to be a nightmare. It's going to turn into a mess.
So say you've hidden it from us, so I can't even see it.
Ha-ha!
on the screen.
I thought you put a wheel on Chris's head in that video behind, but you were just fitting a wheel. I was like, that's a bit harsh. But
I like that this is before we purchased.
But he would look
additional-
really good.
just like my cool clothes, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I got frowned upon for putting a coat hanger in a fridge the other day. I literally just put a coat hanger in the front door of a fridge. I was like, why have you done that? And I said, it's so that any piece of clothing you hang on it is cool.
Ooh.
He's over 2 meters away.
Are you saying boo or boo-uns?
Boo-uns.
Boo-uns.
Yeah, we've watched too much since.
Yeah.
Is that your 2 meter stick?
This is my 2 meters.
I might need that soon.
Spin around and whack it.
Actually, just get lots of them and then like make a belt with them. And then press a button.
I'm not entirely convinced with what I have achieved.
Well, we could have a competition to
I'm-
design the logo for the competition.
Cabe says
That's-
you deserve that.
Okay,
boo.
that's not helpful. Can we swap?
I still can't get over the crispy. Every time I see it.
Well, it's not bad. It's not bad.
I wonder how. I don't know if I can operate. Oh, I might actually be able
Could you
to
make the
operate that.
foot a cake?
Ah.
Hang on. Please bear with while I remember which way I need to move the mouse. Please bear with. Cake loading.
I promise I will not be a live audience member for all of them.
Nah,
This
it's
is
going to
way
happen
more
now.
amusing than any other ones. But it's fine. Ah, yeah. Cake.
And then you just got to replace the foot with the cake.
Or you replace the pedal with the cake.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Squish the cake. We could do a full-on Taskmaster. Could add an additional round to it.
Maybe even next year we'll do.
Additional points for sitting on your.
Yeah. Fastest one to sit on your cake car wins. Maybe next year we'll do a Taskmaster thing. Yeah.
No standing on the cake.
Because I have one of their books.
I did like their lockdown
Oh, that was so good.
tasking was really good.
Yeah. But you can also get them to do Zoom meetings as well. Yeah,
I realise I'm all
Zoom.
just very, very silent at this point, but once again. Oh,
Yeah,
no.
me and Vix are whispering in the background. I do apologise.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
We're also not mic'd, so like.
What? Mm.
The frustration is real.
I was sure.
The more frustrated he gets, the more Neanderthal he gets. Man make cake.
But yeah, so
Good,
the
I'm
other
going to have to
question-
do it manually.
So the question for people in chat is, in January, assuming that we make it over to the States, what do we get the Americans to cook that are classic British staples?
Beans on toast. Because it will totally mess with their head. They
True.
don't understand beans on toast.
MS Paint is cricket. Have you made a speedy cake there?
I have.
I did wonder why it
Because
was
of
a bit
course you-
wonky. I was.
Haggis. Ah, yeah, that thing that'd be problematic, wouldn't
Or veggie haggis. Just, you know.
it? I feel like you might you might stir tensions on the chat at the mention of veggie haggis.
I've eaten both types of haggis, so
White Knight has also pointed out that beans on toast freaks them out.
yep.
Why?
Because it's just alien to them. It's like
I
why
mean, they don't really have proper toast. Let's be honest.
they microwave tea for God's sakes. Come on,
Because like their sliced bread
sugar.
has more sugar in it.
They don't have proper baked beans either. They have like Branston baked beans, and if they want to get Heinz, they have to go to the British section in their supermarkets to get Heinz.
Oh, you just ruined that.
I watched you guys make in America a English breakfast burrito today.
To be fair, an English breakfast burrito is absolutely fantastic. There's
Not-
nothing wrong
Not
with
if the
that.
Americans do it, and it's their own take on an English breakfast. If that makes any
I
sense.
was going to say spoons do a nice breakfast wrap, but I'm sure there are other wraps available at other retailers.
Oh. Yeah, but never spoons.
Never spoons.
Alright, I'm now going to have to catch up on chat.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, Speed Photoshop is in fact quite slow. Yes, it is. Okay, so how do we feel about Cake Off? I'm not completely convinced, I must admit. There is absolutely nothing I can do to deselect that layer through YouTube.
Hi, Dave.
What?
Hey, we have Big Dave.
I'm sure. Big
Yeah.
Dave
So the
would have been
question
able
the
to
question
Photoshop
is
quicker.
basically with or without that in, and I'm kind of thinking without at this point more and more. Or oh, I made a meal of that.
Yay!
I'm here all week because I never leave.
We could see if
Unfortunately.
Imperial Beach Dad wants to do an entry
Yes.
with kids.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I mainly say that because the
Oh.
episode of
Damn it.
Tucson is playing on the BT PC at the moment.
Make them do jacket potatoes. Apparently that's not a thing in America.
Really?
I've just googled it. Yeah.
Did you just Google what confuses Americans?
Yeah, I
Yes,
know as
I
an
did.
American who tried
The
making
metric
one.
system.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's some savagery out of the cut. What confuses Americans? The metric system.
I mean, I said that I really can't
Wow.
complain because it took me that long to find a non-metric screw. for
Whitworth
working.
threads. Ooh, spooky ghost.
To be fair, you wouldn't have been complaining if it had meant that I'd got you on a flight to the States to pick up some screws for me.
100%. Yeah, I would have been all over that.
It's a long way to go for a screw.
Ah! See what you did there.
No one heard me at all
Yeah.
say that.
Now the question is, with or without a space?
What space? Oh. Oh.
Yeah, you're definitely socialised medicine. Ooh, fire coming out of Dave there. To be fair, a lot of them do. They just don't get it. That's yeah. that's a bit. Healthcare generally, yes, they get shafted on that. But yes, that's yeah. This is the correct way to social during a pandemic. Is you sit, watch people on your TV do something completely worthless.
I was going to say, knowing obviously that as of today's announcement, we are never going back into a full lockdown.
Apparently
Just like
so.
we were never going to cancel Christmas.
Yeah.
In the event that we do, we will be here for your entertainment and social.
Yes. Yeah, in the event that this once again turns into an absolute mess, you can rely on us to waste away your life for you.
Emma recommends the space between.
Yeah, so I think the space between is definitely needed. I left it a while, kept looking back, and decided that no, that looked awful. However, that works. I'm just wondering about whether or not this cake really should be over here.
Yorkshire
And
puddings. Because they're
Yes,
popovers.
But they call them like Dutch pancakes or something.
In-
Oh, in New England they're
Embiggened.
popovers.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. And they make them sweet.
Yeah, they do. It has some really nice ones with like butter and jam in New England. Oh my god, it was so good. And they were like this big.
I think
let's put this
doesn't
down.
Kay do that with Yorkshire puddings anyway? She always makes 2 extra Yorkshire puddings when she makes Yorkshire
I
puddings.
have
and has
mine
them.
with homemade blackberry or raspberry vinegar, or I have them
Maybe.
with
No.
oh, what's that? The lemon and salt like
There
a
we go.
pancake, or golden syrup.
Right, let me just grab the original logo again. That
Just don't tell my pancreas that, okay?
and
I'm making Cornish pasties.
So my initial thought was Scouse because they're the Liverpool Supporters Hub.
Yep.
But then I'm like,
Oh,
there's probably other more like less regional specific things. I mean, I would love to see them do a proper British roast dinner.
bubble and squeak. Bubble and squeak.
Bubble and squeak. Yeah.
God, I really want bubble and squeak. We should have like bubble and squeak rusties today. Oh, you put the pedal back. Okay.
I wanted to try with
Are
the
you gonna make it so there's like zoom lines on the cake?
speed cake.
Not
The tangents are strong with this stream. Indeed, they are, White Knight. And it is unfortunate to be relegated to the phone, but I mean, the F1, obviously, given what is normally discussed on this stream, is an appropriate thing to be relegated to the phone for.
Oh, Emma heard me say bubble and squeak.
Bubble and Squeak. I read a book called Bubble and Squeak at school. I can't remember what it was about.
No.
Is it about a mouse called Bubble and a mouse called Squeak?
It's either that or a gerbil or a hamster.
How did I know it was going to be a small furry creature?
It's just always the way, isn't it? That's very confusing because the thing pops up on this screen instead of that screen, and that's very difficult to
Did
comprehend.
you see what Dave said? The top of the K needs to be lined up with the bottom of the X.
As in this spot down here.
Yeah.
I'm assuming so.
Yeah. So I haven't quite worked out how to get that arrangement yet. I'm currently ripping off the lines that they have in NASCAR. I could, to be fair, literally just go and rip off the lines they have in NASCAR.
Another Instagram account for PedalBox for Loki as the Meow Deer manager,
Yes.
and then I'll just post random pictures of Loki like with a tool in his hand or sitting on top of an engine or something. Mostly in the house.
We
'cause
just
outside.
duplicate this. Yes, another one.
He does like sitting in the tyres.
He does like sitting in the tyres.
Then
No, Big
this.
Dave says no right bit of top K, so it looks like single line through K and X.
Yes, so I tried that. And it didn't look very good because the width of them didn't work. But yes, because that was my first thought as well. But basically, if you have the cake off small enough so it fits under the logo, the width of the line up the right-hand side of the K is different to the width of the line of the X, and vice versa. It just doesn't quite. It just doesn't quite work. But otherwise, yes, I was thinking exactly the same thing.
We have the best friends. Have you read the stream? I mean, not because you're photoshopping.
No, because I'm busy. I was going to say working, but that feels a bit strong.
Loki is asleep on the sofa.
Oh. Have you read the comments?
No, I've been accidentally getting in front of the camera.
It's so good.
Oh, what channel is the F1 on? Sky. No.
Oh look, another distraction!
What a friend!
Right, I need all of these.
See, at this point, I should just go and get my knitting out.
I think Aid's part magpie.
Ooh, shiny red ball.
Ooh, shiny.
Merge.
Squirrel.
That that was not what I wanted to happen.
Squirrel.
Yes.
Squirrels have happened.
I'm basically just being lazy here.
Squirrels have joined the chat.
Oh, I need to then.
Doug has
merge
his own
them.
series on Disney now.
I saw, because they just released that and then the guy died. That's the voice of the old man.
Oh, I never heard that.
Yeah. It was. They did a special tribute for him on Disney Castle, and they put the up balloons and they did the little love story on it.
And that love story
Okay.
always makes me cry anyway.
I watched that. Right?
Still a better love story than
Because
Twilight.
no one told me about it. I was sobbing for like 20 minutes.
Okay, so. And I've lost my mouse pointer because I can't work out which side of the screen it's on.
Don't you do the fat line first, getting thinner?
Please hold. NASCAR.
Okay. You want to zoom in on that? It's a little bit too small. It's a little bit too far away.
Do Americans really struggle with the word squirrel?
Yes.
Squirrel?
Squirrel.
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 Squirrel. Squirrel.
Yeah.
Eichhörnchen.
Sorry,
Yeah,
what?
so that was why I was
That's
like,
squirrel.
slice that way.
My mum accidentally said
Yeah, lost my
So
mouse again.
the word for squirrel in Spanish is like one letter away from the word for knee.
Oh.
So in my mum's speaking exam, she accidentally said, because we live up north, there's loads of squirrels. She accidentally said in her speaking exam, we go to the woods to visit in my spare time I like to go to the woods to visit the knees. And
Oh dear.
the exam, like the teacher does the exam and they're not allowed to talk, so like she had an examiner off, like not talking, going
Oh, of course, because
like
it's.
gesturing, like not knees.
I know.
That's
how-
cake.
Ah.
Although that does sound a little bit like ass cake. Sounds a little bit too close to that, I think.
Did it work? Apparently
Oh.
not.
Oh,
Okay,
that's
yeah.
a good point, actually. Yeah. NASCAR logo is moving right, but the cake is moving left.
Another distraction.
Ooh, shiny!
Oh.
I'm just gonna get my Stream Deck and program it. When I get
Yes.
distracted, some sparkles appear on the screen. Just
Oh, that's okay. No, don't mind me. I've worked out why it didn't work. Unsurprisingly, because I was dumb. And I extended the wrong. Yeah.
Oh, we could do Toad in the Hole for dinner one day next week.
Do you know what? Aiden and I were talking about doing Toad in the Hole. Yeah, because I really like it and I've not had it for ages.
There we
I mean,
go.
we're talking years.
Well, we have lots of eggs because I tested the. We're now just having this random housemate meeting while Aid tries and
We did Toad in the Hole with Bubble and Squeak.
yes,
Yeah.
Aid flips desk.
We have enough potatoes that we could use. I was thinking of grating them up for a rusty anyway, so we could just use them for Bubble and Squeak instead.
Sounds
Okay,
good.
See, then we don't waste them, and it's about making Greta Thunberg happy.
Yep.
Apparently.
I mean, really, Emmy, it is a sausage in the hole. Cause
The
we love
sausage
you.
in the hole.
Okay, so now this is about the right size. That I can probably make the line coming down work. But I do need to make the cake bigger.
Bigger cake is always better.
Bigger is better?
No, bigger cake. Make it half the size of the screen. Just cake.
Cake! I also
Ultimate
need to
cake.
embiggen this.
I don't know where my brain is going, if I'm honest, right now.
It's fine.
I'd only be sat playing Settlement Survival, so. No, that's my drinking one.
I I think that's in line. I obviously can't see because, well, actually I can look on the stream if I wait
Still
long
got
enough.
Chris and Loki in the way, so.
Business, Chris.
Yeah, that looks a
Where's Chris gone? Chris was here.
he's there.
Chris left the chat, man. This is
Right.
when he goes, I'm here. Can you actually see who's in there?
Just going to move that across slightly.
Oh my god, it is 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Where has the time gone? It
Cake.
started off so on topic and on point.
I mean,
and-
we had. It's not like we derailed it in the middle
Okay,
of the
so the
topic.
question now
It's very
becomes
true.
colours.
Now you need to make it the pedal box orange because I
It
know
is the
how,
pedal. It is the
I
pedal
know
box
how
orange.
finicky you are about that.
Oh, yeah, we had this discussion when I was making the ice.
It
blend.
literally is the pedal box orange.
That is why the orange on the icing was a lot more orange than it originally was.
And then it made it more green.
And then it made it even more green.
Nobody saw.
Blue!
Fine.
We're really doing this, we are. Okay.
All the best things happen as a random form.
Yeah, I think. I mean,
I'm.
I mean, if you're going to survive in this house, you do need to embrace the randomness of decisions.
See, I wonder if the candles are a little bit too much.
you can't say anything about randomness of decisions. We put a pizza, chicken nuggets, a kebab, what else?
Oh, is this your kebab?
The kebabzarito.
Yeah, the kebabzarito together. At the spur
Yes,
of a
to be fair,
moment,
yeah,
one
it does.
night.
To be fair, need a little bit of anti-aliasing on the lines. However, I can't remember how to do that right now. So
I just learned a
yeah,
new word.
yeah, I'm not
Aliasing.
aliasing. Yeah. I don't think the candles need it. I can't work out what else it needs, but I don't want to add another colour, and I can't work out where using orange and blue would make sense anywhere else.
Icing.
No. I don't think it looks right.
I'm sorry, a chicken McFlurry?
Yeah. Oh, that chicken McFlurry.
What the actual hell?
Yeah.
A chicken McFlurry?
hmm
Did you put chicken nuggets in the McFlurry?
Yes, we did. Well, it wasn't a McFlurry. It was the leftover ice cream from Insomnia, but
Ah, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, oh, I was actually there. For that
yeah,
as well.
and it was
Yeah.
oh, absolutely on point.
Well, you saw Rive staring at me for dipping my chips in
Yeah.
in a
Yep.
milkshake the other day.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the
He was disgusted.
I'm not sure about the orange icing either.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't think it's the only anti-aliasing.
Aliasing.
No,
No,
but
look in the
no,
chat.
no, Greg. I once heard someone call it anti-aliasing. Anti-aliasing. That's really hard to say compared to, you know.
All hail the chicken.
You're right. Actually, I could put the gradients in. The question becomes, where do you put the gradients in?
I like Emma's idea.
I haven't seen Emma's idea.
No colour on the cake, but maybe the yellow end of the pedal box spectrum as the third line colour.
Yes, that also has potential. One
Really convincing then.
1 second. I need to remember how to do some of the
It's a good job I'm only working 2 days a week in November, isn't it?
some of the things.
Oh, actually, yeah, and there is a time when we are in LA
Gradient.
during the process of entries as well.
Mm.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
That'll be okay. Got until the 14th.
Anyone wanna? Yeah.
Yeah! There you go, we did it.
Yeah. Oh, I know why. It's
Designed by committee.
Yes. Don't mind me.
Emma again says orange, yellow, blue, and black.
Let's pimp your bake.
Sorry, what? Pimp your what?
Pimp your bakes.
Oh.
That's what. That's
Oh yeah, I just saw it. I hadn't scrolled up to that far.
There we go. That took a lot longer than it should have to
Maybe a
work out.
gaggle. What is a gaggle? Is that geese?
Yep.
Honk. Goose.
And then deselect everything and then put another one. Oh, and then I need this, and then a dropper there, or no, let's take the dropper from there, make it a
I
little
really,
bit lighter.
I'm in the
And
status
drop
for
this one
Reading
from
thing.
there.
I've just muted it because I get 134 messages a day.
Now, you're not going to believe me when I tell you that that wasn't what I was trying to do.
Never.
Now, you're not going to tell me, you're not going to believe me, but I'd forgotten to do a step. It was exactly what I was trying to do.
Untitled goose up.
I mean, I'm not going to say it, but like, you have just graduated from a school that has a full-on media, like, promotion type department.
You mean talented people? Yes, I'm fully aware.
I mean, I wasn't gonna. I mean, you said that yourself.
I must admit, I am kind of tempted by stealing the same kind of general layout of the NASCAR one.
Cake was never an option.
Cake is always an option.
I mean, this did turn into gingerbread cars to cakes now.
Well, no, you
I
can
mean,
still do.
largely
You know,
just
you
edible.
can, you can. Yeah, it just has to be edible. That's all.
Edibles, not edibles, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So are we doing it as a team? Or is he on his own?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, we need to come up with a strategy for this one.
I'm judging. I can't possibly enter. That would be.
Okay.
that
Oh,
would
that's
be
good because that
insane.
was going to be something I was going to bring up, but yeah. Okay, that's good then. So we can join as a team. You might need to rein me in a little bit.
So good.
No icing sugar. Well, not the icing sugar like you made tonight. Oh, we need your cement.
Full of crack.
I can taste the colours. Check if they copied it first. What?
What did you say you were using that might have been copyrighted?
Oh, NASCAR. I'm using different colours, but the same kind of.
I was going to say almost in.
Oh no, they have 100%.
Oh, yeah.
There's no question about this.
As Dave says, it's
restaurant.
whether or not they're petty.
Oh, they are 100%. However, mine's in a different location. It's a different set of colours, and it's a slightly different set of widths. So for the most part, they can go swing. But I accept that's not really a defence when it comes to
I was going
NASCAR.
to say, would that really hold up in court?
No,
Or,
not even remotely.
Oh, yes, it was, Cave. It was an escapee. A didn't see my joke. He didn't see it. You did. He didn't
It's
see
all
it.
where you went, I had an accident and I leapt out my You're like, no, you
No.
You gotta find the other ground.
Right, so the new game now becomes trying to clip these
Donuts for carburetors.
carburetors.
No, carburetor. You
Carburetors.
Read the
Yeah, okay.
chat.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get it.
I know I get my words mixed up, but I got that one right. For a change.
Now, does this work? Ah, it
Probably
did.
put the lid back on these dreamies,
Until Luna comes in and knocks them over, yeah.
Yes. Paige, you're going to take someone's eye out with those eight. What are they again?
The aliasing.
Aliases.
Yes. Yes, I am.
I genuinely have learnt a new word tonight.
It's surprisingly common down our way.
All of the jaggies.
Come on.
It's sad that Loki's on the sofa.
Oh, yeah. It's,
Nope.
Nope. Ah.
I mean, I have organised something like this before, but not like quite to this scale. Emma says the knife crime in Reading is terrible. And then Dave says, would like to see this in 8 and 16-bit versions too.
No.
Oh, and the cake looks grey compared to the back of the off. It does actually. Yeah.
That's not
I
helpful.
do love a good design by committee.
Oh, it's great. Gaggle, actually. Gaggle. We're a gaggle, according to Dave. A gaggle. This is the most collaborative work I've done since June, I think.
I mean, I guess we're not wise owls.
That definitely wasn't what I was aiming for.
Wise ass.
I was going to say it's a committee about. Oh, it's a parliament of owls.
It's a parliament of owls.
Is that what they call them?
Yeah.
Really?
It's
Yeah.
a group of.
Yeah, it's a parliament of owls.
I wonder why they came up with a parliament.
They're meant to be smart, but they're not. Just like parliament.
Okay, it's getting a little bit too close to the political commentary on this one.
Is that why they really came up with that, or is there a completely like?
There's probably a much better reason, but
I know the crows are
A murder.
a murder, aren't they? Yeah. And there's a gaggle of geese. Oh, I did know another one.
the cake does look a little bit grey, doesn't it? It's because it is fuzzy. It's because it was a tiny picture that I made significantly larger. And I'm just not sure what the easiest, laziest way to fix that is. Because the correct way to do it is to redraw the cake, but that's just not going to happen. Answers on a postcard? Anybody that wants to be bothered to do that? Because it ain't me.
Bears are a sloth or a sleuth.
I don't know, hippos are a bloat. Cincinnati Zoo have just managed to essentially form their latest.
Camels
hippo
are a
bloat.
caravan.
Yes.
Conspiracy of lemurs.
Yeah, you see
Cats are a clouder or glaring. And kittens are a glitter or kindle. Wildcats a destruction. Eagles.
So I think you're on the same
convocation.
website as me. They also have they also have, for a little like relief after learning all of the grammar of how you name groups of animals, they have a slideshow of animal puns.
Oh.
No, I think it's a sweat of geeks. Or a smell of geeks.
Porcupines are called a prickle. I like that.
Someone's just having fun.
Ravens are an unkindness. Rhinoceroses a crash.
Yes, it's a crash of rhinos,
A skunk is a stench.
obviously.
On the subject of skunks, why are skunks so emotional?
Don't know.
They're filled with sentiment.
I like that. A dray or a scurry of squirrels.
Dre was where they lived. What's special about the eucalyptus trees in Australia?
Is this still a joke?
Yeah.
I don't know.
They have exceptional koala genes.
Yeah, they don't have what a group of koalas are called.
Right, I'm just going to try and bodge this bit. So yeah.
A group of jellyfish is a snap. What?
Are you sure that's how it feels if they sting you?
Yeah.
I feel like we probably should have changed places at this point, Aiden. Vix and I should be on camera
Yeah.
telling terrible animal
Yeah.
jokes.
We just put Loki in the middle of the table and make him dance or something.
A pigsty of CS players.
No, it's a pigsty TF2 players.
No, that's definitely not what I was going for. Right.
It's not marquee.
M-A-R
Yeah.
Q.
Q?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Got it. It wouldn't be PedalBox if it wasn't bodged.
Yeah, pretty much.
That should be another one of your like strap lines. If I'm
Bodge
honest.
box.
That could be another YouTube channel.
Okay. So now I need to get this and then paint it the same colour as this, because apparently this isn't black. This is like priest socks kind of black.
Only priest socks can be truly black.
Yeah. All the other ones are just very, 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 very dark blue.
You confused Vix.
Okay. Where's my colour gone?
I'm glad that someone else asked the question about the priest socks.
I'm
just as confused.
I'm genuinely disappointed. You have not watched enough Father Ted.
I wasn't sure.
Only-
Father Ted.
Yeah, only priest socks are black. And you can only buy priest socks from Habitat. Not to be confused with Habitat. Habitat.
Yeah, but I've watched so much Father Ted.
All the other black socks are really just very, 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 very dark blue. I thought so. I hit it.
Like a crow.
We don't talk about that, Aid.
We all know that cows are far away and near.
Yeah, I'm not completely convinced by that. You know,
No, I think it looks alright.
if I could get it to work on this
It's a
side,
nice
on the other end of the K, yes, but I don't think that one quite works right.
Sorry, what? Oh,
I think I like the break better.
you went through all of that. You went through all of that.
Yep.
So, I feel like now is the time to give you the it's 20 past 10 warning, and you can decide how long you want your sign off to be in relation to what you're doing.
Wow. Yeah. Yes. I think. Yeah. As you say, Dave, it would work on the right side of the K, but fitting the rest of it on it just doesn't work at that point. Whereas that, I think that works. I'm gonna try. Gonna live.
Oh, that's
I'm
another
gonna live dangerously here. I mean, I'm not, but you know.
another PedalBox t-shirt. Either I'm gonna live dangerously and try ...
Yeah.
or just I'm gonna try ...
Oh,
Yellow?
No, it doesn't go with the rest of it.
It's definitely the right colour for the cat. I just can't decide if it works particularly well in
I'm
the
not
rest of the
100%
logo.
convinced.
What was it? I'm going to try. ...
Yeah.
What was the other
Or
one?
I'm gonna live dangerously and try.
I'll wait for some chat consensus on the candles. Meanwhile, I'm going to try and find my mouse. There it is. I have lost it once again. And then I'm going to try and
Don't
find
copy my spelling, whatever you do for it, because
Bran.
That's all good.
DANGROUS.
Chocolate cake.
I mean, it does look like Christmas cake.
Extra dark chocolate.
That's a ganache. If you or a mirror glaze if you're going to do it the proper way.
Yeah.
Right, that does make a good point.
On the candle. Yes. Please hold. Your gradient concerns are important to us. Oh no, it does kind of work. Watch this go the wrong way. Oh no. Oh look, the cake has been set on fire.
The cake is alive.
And finally. Oh. Yeah, that works.
Yeah.
I want to make stuff like that. That's so pretty.
Reviews written 2012.
Apparently. Enjoy it. It was a much better time in history briefly there. Um, Again. It's a very quiet stream whilst I'm desperately trying to think and concentrate. So the option is either 2021 there or... Oh. What? Dick. I've forgotten how to do the anything. Okay. No. 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 Excuse me while I just complain at myself and then lose my mouse pointer again.
as Emma points out, the white outlines are the sheen of properly tempered chocolate.
Exactly. So yeah, either 2021 in yes, good point. It does. See, yeah. So if it's in the slash, I think it definitely needs to be italic. I think if it's up top, it won't quite work right. Give it a go. All right, I'm willing to be wrong. Let me just get this angle actually correct. I'm sure you're all so thrilled that you tuned in to watch someone fight with Photoshop on stream.
I think this is the highest average watch time we've
Yeah. So yeah, it's either top or bottom for the 2021. Let's just knock that one off a second. I mean, to be fair, that does work quite nicely because it comes up to the same height as the candles.
Yeah, I do like that.
It's going to suck when we have to do 2022 and it's not going to work again.
Well, you
It's
can
like
do
Bob
20
Ross, but slightly less. Slightly? Are you sure you know what Bob Ross looks like?
Oh,
It
we've got
needs-
to get you a Bob Ross afro now.
I need some
Bob Ross
hack.
for Halloween.
Yes. Oh, I could go as a happy little tree.
Please hold, caller.
See, unfortunately,
See,
I've lost all my
okay.
flair from my previous.
I'm going to have to pull this over here for a second, just to
I'm
do
going to change
this
the
like
VT back to.
What
properly.
is going on?
Welcome to the madness.
I feel sorry if anyone has this muted.
See, I do need to think of another. I mean, to be fair, the last time I put a Halloween costume decision out to committee, wouldn't say terrible decisions were made, but like
Unwise?
it was a brilliant costume. I just don't think it's necessarily appropriate anymore. But I don't know what to do.
I mean, I said he could go as Edward Scissorhands and you can go as a bush or a shrub or something. I'll put a nice little bush there. There'll be a little secret. And if you tell anyone about the secret bush.
I'll kill you. Right, do you want to pop the other one back on? Missed.
Sorry, I was singing that and now you're singing it.
Did someone ask? Did someone ask for a happy little tree? This is happy little trees.
Dye your hair green, Yola, and go as a happy little tree. And what you can do is you can make like a metal frame, like a wire frame, put that on and then wrap your hair around it.
That's an idea.
And then you are a happy little tree. There you go, I've done your thing for you. My job here is done.
Yeah, I don't think I'll fit into my medieval woman dress.
Yeah, you're trying to keep it PG-13. Well done.
medieval towns lady.
Greg did a costume for work and got absolutely inspired with Guy Fieri. Welcome to Flavor Hell. Everything is chili. Everything is burnt.
No, I mean, when I went for cosplay, my first ever dress that I made, like I sewed, was a like a medieval maiden with like the ridiculously long sleeves that you fall over.
Oh, I thought you were going for like the medieval
Now, to be fair,
lady that has
there is
beer and stuff.
Now that would be I think I do have.
a wench.
I
I
didn't
have
know
a
if I could
pattern
say
for a
that or
wench
not on the
dress.
stream, but yes, a wench. There you go. Aid said it, so I've said it now. See, now you guys.
Windy! Oh God! Hurricane! Happy little tree is not so happy. Oh, it's okay.
Gourmet grubs and braids. I still smell strongly of hair gel and baby powder. Oh, that's Kate, by the way, not me.
Yes. Yeah, I think the happy little tree is crying a little bit because he's about to be on fire because there is a candle right behind him.
But that sums up 2021 as well, really.
What, a tree on fire? Just an absolute dumpster fire. Yeah, alright, fair enough.
I could go as 2020.
What, just a dumpster fire?
Well, you said you could go as COVID, didn't you?
Yeah.
You
Okay,
could go as
let's...
a lateral flow test. And have a giant cotton swab.
Lateral flow test, man.
And just literally walk around this giant
Okay,
cotton
so...
swab.
So has this genuinely become, yay, we've been here for 4 years, also let's have a completely new competition next month. And
Yeah.
here is the logo for it.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Because we're such good influencers.
We've had 2021, yes. What about 2022? I'm really looking forward to 2021, you know. Summer 2020's been a bit of a disappointment these last 18 months.
I genuinely can't remember a lot of 2020.
It's because it didn't really happen. It just passed us by. That was the biggest problem with it.
Now I've got that song that all the leaves are brown in my head. I don't know.
And the sky's grey.
Yeah, it's just in my head now. Whenever I think
Sorry,
of
whatever version I'm going to do right now isn't going to get us taken off the air because it's not going to be good.
Whenever I
Oh,
think of
excuse
2020,
me.
that plays in my head.
Ah, good times.
What, 2020?
No.
Oh.
No. Never. That was just time. Just times. Right, well, it is actually 10:30, so we should potentially think about wrapping this up because I do have other things to do, apparently, and I actually need to release the 4th part of the Retro Rides video. And I need to create some rules and an entry thing for the PedalBox Cake-Off.
I can do that.
Because that's a thing now. So yes, that's going to be happening now. Get your entries, get your ideas going, and we will be accepting entries via all of the usual social media gubbins through to.
You need the hashtag, by the way.
We don't talk about 20. Actually, yeah, that's a good point. Okay, one sec. All right, we're not
Right,
doing.
we're going to sign off.
We're not doing the sign off yet because we've got to do the hashtag.
Well, I meant you could have just said it. But okay, sure.
You have to think about what you're going to say to Ed really carefully before you send him off on another tangent.
Shiny!
What was the hashtag we decided on?
PedalBox Cake-Off.
No, there was another one as well.
No, that was
No, there was
it.
definitely another one.
That's the only one I've got written down.
I was going to say, I'll scroll back through.
Scrub it. It was done. Wasn't it? It wasn't pun is better than good, but no, bun is better than
is
good.
better.
That
You
was
want
it.
bun is better than good. Okay, fine.
Unfortunately, I can't remember how you do hash on a keyboard that doesn't have hash. Which is
Just Google it and copy and paste it.
What's next to your enter key?
dot. Like the hash key literally doesn't exist on this keyboard.
No, as in, so your return key,
Yes,
where is it?
doesn't exist. That it doesn't. This is a long-standing problem.
Just do what people do on Macs.
And-
Google it, and
yeah.
copy and paste it.
yeah, basically that.
Not that I've had to do that before.
We also, I swear this is the most likes we've had during the stream as well.
There we go. And what's worse is I'm going to have to put it in a different font
Alt
as well.
35 apparently.
Thank you. I can never remember because for some reason in this font the hash symbol is 2/3 the size of normal.
Ah.
Gapod equals. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to put this in some other font. What is the generally accepted typing font of choice these days?
Comic Sans!
I'll kill you. There we go. Bun is better than good.
Well, no, surely you can do the font you wanted, but just make the hashtag bigger.
You would be surprised how much of a chore that is to do every single time. Because I have done it, and it's really, really annoying.
Makes sense. I would say though, Greg, it's always best to start a year with schemes and plots afoot. Like, it wouldn't be a.
Yeah, it also doesn't line up. So if you have it on the same line, it doesn't work like that. What I'll show you. In fact, actually, I'll let Yolanda jump in and sit here and waffle for a second while I knit to the loo, and then I'll finish this. You're gonna have to.
I can join with you if you want, or both of us.
Are you going to go through the rules? You might want to go around that side,
Okay.
save having to step
Shall
over
we
this
both just
particular
go
cable.
together?
There you go.
Should we do this?
Yeah, alright. Hang on. Oh god, we can both look rough together.
I don't even know what he was doing.
Well, we have to go through the rules. Oh no, that's my butt. Oh, plate.
I might need to sit on the table. Oh no, I'm gonna. Then I'll put the TV.
Oh, that doesn't matter because we're talking
Riveting
about the
content,
thing.
guys. I do apologise.
He doesn't have a mic on, does he?
No,
Thank God for that.
no. We've got the boom on and the what's it called?
You can go over here, Chris. There you go. There you go. Okay.
How's it going, Chris?
Yeah. How are things, Chris? Right. So,
I was going to
rules.
say we have a very long list of rules.
These are just notes. These
Oh.
aren't all rules. Oh, okay. I've got more paper. Hi. Hi.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, we did have bunnies better than good. It was the first thing I wrote down.
I like needs small power.
Yes, that is good. That is also under there. And bake horsepower. So, it's going to be judged via a poll, apparently. People can either do it as a group or as a individual thing.
Wow, there's a lot of dreamies on the floor.
Yeah, there are. Yes. Yeah, there are many.
Other cat treats are of it.
People can start to put their entries in for the 1st of December, and it closes. Entries close on the 14th of December. You can put them on social media with the hashtag bun is better than good. We will be giving.
And to be fair, bun is better than good, and probably PedalBox
And-
Bake Off as well is.
I was
Yeah.
about to say
Do you want
that.
to jump on that side now?
So the issue we encountered with this is that that seat isn't on,
Well,
and
have
then
I got to move down a bit, or are you going to sit there?
I'm going to perch and
Okay.
block the screen. So.
Fine.
That's difficult.
Points will be given for naming. So we've got best title, pun, theme, taste, decoration, and that's a
That's
t-shirt
not how that
idea.
works.
And so far, that's it. It will be properly written up at some point, probably by me. So yeah, there you go. What are people saying?
Right, so let me
Hi.
show you the. Yeah,
Where's
so
Nikki?
this is basically the problem with
Do you want me to move down a bit?
with this particular hash in this font, Greg.
Yeah.
As you can
Chris
see,
Yes, can sit here.
as you can see, it just lifts it higher and higher and higher up off the baseline. So you have to put it in as a wholly separate entity, and it's just annoying, you know.
Emma says we're clearly better because there's less desk banging. Oh,
You
Craig
do
has a
this,
theme already.
and
He's just
this.
workshopping the pun.
Craig does.
Yeah, Craig. What did I say?
You said
Craig.
Craig.
I
I was
put
like, where's Wizzo come from?
I put Cabe and Greg together. Oh, come on, I've been in here since 7:30. Give me a break.
We're all good.
At least.
And then I think it needs to come like
Oh,
here. Or are you gonna?
I need another. No, because screwed that up. Because it, of course, put it in the middle.
I gotta write all this up. So. Oh, you want that one? That's t-shirt ideas. Oh, you're actually gonna put the thing on. Put it through the like that. Would that work? We need to get Loki a black tie, don't we?
You wouldn't see it.
Oh yeah. Of
You
course.
need an orange and blue tie. He's a black cat, you know. You might as well just not put one on and then tell everybody he has a black tie.
Shut up. It's my cat.
There's Chris. Properly turned out.
Nobody expects surprise Wizzo.
That floss though.
Oh, don't please.
Well, this has been an interesting. This is not how I expected it to turn out, but it's been very good.
Ooh, we could have a buzzword bingo next video. That's another thing to sort out. Yeah. Oh, you're gonna write that down.
Including Aid goes off on a tangent. Aid goes off on a tangent for a second time.
And a third.
And a
To be
third
fair, a
time.
tangent from the tangent is the real
Yeah,
the real
no,
champion.
this is true. This is true.
Yes, the jockey showers.
Maybe we'll start on camera next week. Yeah.
You never know. Maybe.
Well, yeah, today definitely escalated.
You've got an extra T in the
Where?
guitar.
I didn't. But yes, I do.
No, it doesn't look rude or anything, does it? If you read it.
Bunnis, well, if it was punnis, it might. To be fair, if it was punnis, that's a risky one.
Well, I'm just thinking of that Susan thingamajig one.
Penn Island.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Susan's album party.
Yeah, that
Yes.
one. Yes, I'm just making sure that it hasn't got
Anal
anything
bomb
like
party,
that.
yes. No, I think that works.
Just make sure it says good and not God, right?
Bun is better than God. Oh.
What's that? Tangent sweepstakes. These tangents go 17 deep, more branches than TVA, and you do have a Loki after all.
Right.
No.
So, at this point, we should probably start thinking about wrapping up. So, where have we been? Oh, apparently I managed to turn the light off again.
I need them.
Yeah. Thank you everybody for watching. If you made it to the end, there are 8 people still watching, which is well done. What do you want, Aid? Now you've pulled me off on a tangent. Control S. Yeah, you're not wrong.
I watched Q2 and Sonny Chris is looking very strange.
All we did was fix his tie.
He looks super smart now. Just need some googly eyes. I've got loads upstairs.
We were gonna buy some giant ones.
I've got big ones. Yeah.
I need some to put on some of like the wire strippers,
Yeah.
so it looks like a dinosaur. Curse your inevitable stripping.
Yeah, I've got some. I've got a whole bag of them.
I feel a little bit bad if Chris.
Oh, just
Right, yes. So, thank you all for coming along and watching and sticking through the second half of this, which went a little bit off on a tangent and somehow resulted in a competition being born. I'm not against it by any stretch. I'm just surprised. Genuinely didn't expect it to go down this way, but I like it. I think it's good. I'll start reaching out to a few people and poking them into seeing if they want to join in. It will probably be... You have a bag of strippers. I have a drawer. My drawers are full of strippers. Actually, only one drawer is full of strippers, to be fair. It's not... Yeah...
Wrap up.
Yeah.
You're better at Chris than this.
So,
keep you on the straight and narrow.
So, thank you very much for watching, coming along and helping to design this by committee. I think it's turned out as a roaring success. Hopefully the cakes will also turn out in a similar way. We will have something up and running soon TM to explain it properly, probably. And we'll put out some posts along the lines of what on earth are we doing with ourselves. And we'll put that out soon. So if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, buy some of the merch because it's nearly getting time for Christmas. I mean, it's Halloween and we don't really have any Halloween themed merch, but buy it anyway for Halloween if you want. You can also buy it for bonfire night. Don't set it on fire. It's definitely flammable. And you can buy it for people for Christmas. You should definitely do that. And we have all of the things available on shop.pedalbox.show. You can support the Patreon at patreon.com/pedalboxshow. You can also, and you should indeed, subscribe to us on YouTube as the buttons down the bottom and hit the little bell because it'll do the things and make the algorithm happy. Also like the video for shiggles because everybody should clearly see the madness that this descends into. You're about to try and escape so that you can do the final bit, which is going to be really funny because you're going to do an exit like Chris. So if we just shuffle this across here, you just disappear off. Yeah, that's probably going to end up on the PedalBox Discord like the other one did. So that'll be fine. We also need, to be fair, we should definitely put Loki in there as well as some business cat goodness.
I already have.
No, it's a little...
Oh my god, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, we'll make sure that that happens also at some point. Right, add it to the list. And we will see you next time we do one of these, which might be in a couple of weeks' time. It might be sooner. I still have 2 bags of Lego and a number of boxes of Lego that I should really build at some point. So there is an odds-on chance that one day during the week when I'm not working, I will probably just fire the stream up and go, I'm going to build some Lego.
I mean,
You should chat along with me. Yeah, but we found other things to do, so we might as well save them. And I also have
Did we?
the super limited edition Mighty Car Mods Jigsaw to do as well at some point. So that will happen, maybe, probably. We'll see. I'll probably forget. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, sticking along with us, and I'm just going to try and find the right page so I can actually see what people have said in chat. 4 distractions. I think that counts as 5 now, Greg. You are always a distraction. If you're floor manager doing that, you need to be off camera. 6 distractions.
No.
Are we ready?
Yes, we are probably ready. Are we gonna wrap up? We done? Are we done? Where's?
He's on the sofa.
He's on the sofa. He's asleep on the sofa. So Loki probably says bye, but what he really says is the quietest little snores you've ever heard. And we will definitely see you next time. Tomorrow, probably tomorrow, you'll be able to watch the last part of the Retro Rides video, which we should have put out some time ago. There are at least 3 episodes of PedalBox completely filmed, and basically I've been pushing them back until I could get the part 4 of Retro Rides done. But there are 3 more coming soon TM, so watch out. Excuse me, watch out for those, and we will see you next time.